Chapter 45-28. After entering the immortal state, one would have a long lifespan, at least a stellar year. Lu Ming didn't have to worry about Lu Yuntian and Li Ping's lifespan anymore. Grandpa! As soon as Lu Ming greeted Li Ping and Lu Yuntian, a crisp voice sounded and a figure jumped into Lu Ming's arms. This figure was naturally Lu Qi. Ahem, Qi. You're not a little girl anymore. Why are you still acting like a child? Lu Ming coughed and said, Humph, Qi will always be a child in front of Grandpa. Who dares to gossip? Lu Qi snorted coldly. The corners of his mouth rose as he looked around. Lu Yuntian, Ouyang Moli, Yuan Huan and the others burst into laughter. Qi don't mess around. Lu Shenhuang walked over and scolded with a stern face. However, Lu Qi made a face at Lu Shenhuang and stuck out his tongue. He held onto Lu Ming's arm and refused to let go. Shenhuang, don't worry. Seeing that Lu Shenhuang was about to scold Lu Qi again, Lu Ming raised his hand and stopped Lu Shenhuang. Lu Ming doted on this eccentric granddaughter very much. Shenhuang, your cultivation has fallen behind. Even Qi is catching up to you. Lu Ming glanced at Lu Shenhuang's cultivation and said, Dad. Lu Shenhuang's face turned red and he looked a little embarrassed. Grandpa, Dad doesn't like to go out and take risks, but I'm different. I travel and adventure. I want to be as great as Grandpa in the future. Lu Qi waved her little fist and said, This guy didn't hesitate to betray his biological father. Lu Ming nodded. He noticed that Lu Shenhuang's cultivation had just reached the immortal king realm. Lu Qi's cultivation had reached the 9th level of the heavenly god realm, similar to Ouyang Moli. Logically speaking, Lu Shenhuang's talent was the highest among the juniors, even higher than Xiang, Ouyang Moli, and Lu Qi. However, his cultivation was only slightly higher than Ouyang Moli and Lu Qi, but not as high as Lu Xiang. Lu Qi was right. Lu Shenhuang didn't like to travel or take risks. He liked to be with his family. It was better when he was young, especially after he got married and had a family. On the other hand, Lu Qi was a mischievous person who liked to take risks and travel everywhere. It was just that he lacked some opportunities. Otherwise, his cultivation would be even higher. Qi, are you married? Lu Ming asked curiously. Lu Qi was not young anymore. He had long reached the age where he could get married. No, there are a lot of people pursuing me, but I don't like any of them. Lu Qi shook his head. Father, this girl's standards are very high. She said that she wants to find a genius like father. Where can she find one? When you come back, you have to discipline her. I have a headache, Lu Shenhuang mumbled, causing Lu Qi to give him a sidelong glance. The others burst into laughter. Master. A fragrant wind drifted over. Xiang slowly walked over and bowed to Lu Ming. Lu Xiang wasn't the little girl she used to be. She looked like she was in her 20s. Her figure was slim, and her beauty was outstanding. She wasn't below Autumn Moon, Huang Ling, and the others. Xiang, your cultivation base isn't bad. Lu Ming nodded satisfactorily. Among them, only Xiang's cultivation base satisfied Lu Ming. 6th King God Realm. This was Lu Xiang's cultivation base. Her cultivation speed was already amazing. Xiang's talent was amazing, and her willpower was even stronger. She had been following in Lu Ming's footsteps, constantly moving forward. It's a pity that she lacks some opportunities. I can bring her to the ruins of the universe and let her practice more. Her cultivation base will have an explosive period. Lu Ming pondered. Next, Lu Ming exchanged a few pleasantries with the rest. They chatted as they walked. Soon, they arrived at a large hall. Naturally, someone set up a banquet to welcome Lu Ming. During the banquet, Lu Ming also explained his purpose for coming back this time. He wanted to bring everyone away and head to a cultivation place that was 100 times better than the Taishu sacred dynasty. In fact, Lu Ming was not exaggerating. The base of the Heaven Exterminating Army in the ruins of the universe had origin realm powerhouses who had improved the environment and created a sacred cultivation ground. The actual cultivation conditions were probably 100 times better than those in the Taishu sacred dynasty. Everyone was moved. At the same time, they were extremely tempted. A place 100 times better than the Taishu dynasty? What kind of place was that? Wouldn't their cultivation base advance by leaps and bounds if they cultivated there? Immediately, everyone agreed. They trusted Lu Ming completely. Moreover, Cultivation was the most important goal for cultivators. They were different from ordinary people. Ordinary people were particular about staying in a place for a long time. They would treat that place as their root and would not leave easily. However, cultivators were different. In order to increase their cultivation base, they would travel and train everywhere. They would go to some dangerous places. They didn't have a fixed residence. Their goal was to increase their cultivation base. Therefore, if there was a place 100 times better than the Taishu dynasty, everyone wanted to go. They were all looking forward to it. As for the hidden dragon heavenly king's residence, it was nothing compared to the increase in cultivation. Any one of them would be able to manage it. All right then. You can start preparing. I have a treasure that can form its own world. It's extremely huge. You can take it with you as many people as you want. Those who want to go together can go together. Lu Ming said. All right. Everyone nodded and left one after another to make preparations. Lu Yuntian and Li Ping didn't leave. They had nothing to prepare. They just wanted to chat with Lu Ming and talk about what Lu Ming had been through during this time. All right, Ming, where are Xueqi and Autumn Moon? How have they been all these years? Have you seen them? Li Ping asked. The two of them were her daughter-in-law, and they hadn't seen each other for many years. Naturally, she missed them very much. Especially Autumn Moon, who was obedient. They had watched her grow up. Back then, Autumn Moon had gone missing while searching for Lu Ming. They were extremely worried because there had been no news of her for so many years. Father, Mother, don't worry. Xueqi and Autumn Moon are fine. They are waiting for us at the place we are going. Lu Ming smiled. Good, that's great. Hearing that Xian Yanqing and Autumn Moon were fine and that they would be able to meet soon, the old couple was very happy. Father, Mother, let me introduce you to someone, Lu Ming said. With a wave of his hand, Autumn Moon appeared in front of the old couple. This is... The old couple sized up Ling Yue and were both stunned by her appearance and temperament. As the elf princess, Ling Yue had once been ranked as one of the 20 most beautiful women in the universe. There was nothing to say about her temperament and appearance. Father, Mother, her name is Ling Yue. She is the princess of the universe's great elves and also your future daughter-in-law. As Lu Ming introduced her, he walked to Ling Yue's side and held her small hand. Hearing Lu Ming's introduction, Ling Yue's face turned red like an apple. She looked even more beautiful as she bowed to the old couple and said, Yue greets uncle and aunt. Chapter 45-29. Looking at Ling Yue, Lu Yuntian and Li Ping were in a daze. It took them a while to react. Li Ping hurriedly held Ling Yue's hand and looked up and down. Her face was full of smiles as she said, Good. Ling Yue only blushed and lowered her head, not knowing what to say. Yue, you should enter the Great Desolate Ring first. I still have something to say to my parents. Lu Ming said. He mainly wanted to avoid Ling Yue from feeling awkward. And all right. Ling Yue quickly nodded. She felt that the pressure from facing Lu Yuntian and Li Ping was even greater than facing the Lord of Heaven. Lu Ming waved his hand, and the Great Desolate Ring produced a suction force, sending Ling Yue back into the ring. Cough, Minger, aren't you too fickle in love? You already have Autumn Moon and Xueqi. I remember that Miss Mullins and Miss Huang Ling were also quite close to you. Why did you find another elf princess now? Lu Yuntian coughed dryly. What's wrong with that? It's normal for a man to have 3 wives and 4 concubines. Moreover, my Minger is so outstanding. It's normal for girls to like him. Li Ping immediately spoke up for Lu Ming. In her heart, the more daughter-in-law, the better. Is it normal for a man to have 3 wives and 4 concubines? Then should I also? Lu Yuntian muttered. What did you say? Li Ping's voice suddenly rose as her eyes widened. Ahaha, no, nothing. Pinger, you look so good today, ha ha ha. Lu Yuntian hurriedly laughed to cover it up. Humph. Li Ping snorted coldly. Lu Ming snickered at the side. So this father of his was actually so afraid of his wife. This was the first time he had discovered it. Little brat, you're gloating, aren't you? If you dare to say a single word about what happened today, I won't forgive you. Lu Yuntian sent a sound transmission to Lu Ming, flying into a rage out of humiliation. Lu Ming's smile immediately disappeared, and he pretended as if nothing had happened, as if he hadn't seen anything. After that, Li Ping asked about Lu Ming's experiences over the years. Lu Ming only talked about a part of it. Of course, Lu Ming would not talk about the dangerous parts. For example, being captured by the heavenly human race and sent to the heavenly prison. Very quickly, 2 days passed. Outside the hidden Dragon Royal Palace, there was a vast and spacious area filled with people. These were all people who wanted to follow Lu Ming to the new place. The total number of people added up to at least 10 million. After more than 1,000 years of development, as well as the time when he was in the chaotic Star River, Lu Ming's family and friends had a lot of people. Putting everything else aside, just the Lu clan alone had been passed down for dozens of generations, and had an astonishing number of people. There were also the descendants of Xueqi and Pang Shi, who were already a colossus. Tens of millions of people were not a lot. Of course, not everyone left with Lu Ming. Some people were reluctant to give up the power here and decided to stay. For example, a portion of the Lu family intended to stay behind. Lu Ming did not reject them and allowed them to continue managing the Hidden Dragon Heavenly King Mansion. Lu Ming also left behind a few quasi-emperor puppets to help them guard the Hidden Dragon Heavenly King Mansion. Lu Ming would not force them to stay or leave. He only wanted the people closest to him to go with him. He did not care about the others. After all, they had brought all the living beings from the primordial realm out of the heaven realm. Now they were scattered in the chaotic Star River, the Qin Tian Starfield, and the Taishu dynasty. The number was shocking. Lu Ming did not care about these people anymore. He would let them develop on their own. Lu Ming would not reject those who wanted to go with Lu Ming. For example, the ancestor of techniques, the ancestral dragon, the 9 lives demonic silkworm, the Titan longhorn beetle, and a group of old comrades who had fought together with him in the past. They were all willing to go with Lu Ming. Lu Ming naturally would not reject them. Gate, open. Lu Ming stood in the air and shouted. He activated the ancient desolation ring with all his might. Suddenly, a huge whirlpool appeared in the sky. It was 1,000 miles wide. Go in. Lu Ming's voice rang out. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. The densely packed silhouette soared into the sky and disappeared into the vortex. The 1,000 miles wide whirlpool was shocking. Tens of millions of living beings entered the ancient desolation ring in no time. Only Lu Ming was left in this area. To the Taishu sacred capital. Lu Ming took a step forward and headed towards the Taishu sacred capital. However, before Lu Ming left, the Taishu sacred capital was already in danger. The experts from the Angel tribe, the Blood tribe, and the Wu people had already surrounded the Taishu sacred capital. Jingma, Kong Shixue, the Undying Demon King, the Holy Old Heavenly King, Tian, and the rest were trembling in fear in front of the experts from the 3 tribes. It was mainly because the other party was too terrifying. When the other party arrived, the strongest army of the Taishu dynasty could not withstand a single blow. The other party only sent one person and only used one move to wipe out the 100,000 strongest army of the Taishu dynasty. Nothing was left. Even the Undying Demon King was drenched in cold sweat when facing the person who attacked. He was extremely terrified. The other party was too powerful. The Undying Demon King knew that he was no match for the other party. If he attacked, he would only die. He would end up like the 100,000 strong army. Moreover, this was only one of the hundreds of people who had walked out casually. The Angel tribe, the legendary Angel tribe. Jingma, Kong Shixue, the Undying Demon King, and the rest were terrified. They could recognize the person who attacked because he had extended his angel wings. The enemy they were facing was the legendary Angel tribe. Although the Taishu dynasty was extremely remote, they had heard rumors about the Angel tribe. They were the overlords of the universe. They were extremely powerful and dominated thousands of star regions in the universe. Compared to the Angel tribe, the Taishu dynasty was like the difference between an ant and a divine dragon. The other party could wipe out the Taishu dynasty with a single breath. Now, such a powerful person was actually looking for them. Was the Taishu sacred dynasty going to be finished? Jingma and Kong Shixue turned pale. May I know why all of you have come to the Great Void Holy Court? Jingma asked in a low voice. We're here to find Lu Ming. An elder from the Angel tribe spoke. This elder was a divine master realm expert from the Angel tribe, named Yelu Chuan. You don't have to deny it. We found out that Lu Ming is from the Taishu dynasty. His family and friends are all in the Taishu dynasty. Tell us, where are Lu Ming's family and friends? Yelu Chuan continued. Are they Lu Ming's enemies? At this moment, Jingma, Kong Shishue, the Undying Demon King, Blue Merchant, and the 1,000 Holy Old Heavenly King were moved. The difference was that Lan Shang and Old Heavenly King Qian Shang were extremely anxious. Lu Ming had actually provoked such an enemy and was about to face a calamity. They were extremely anxious and wanted to send a message to Lu Ming, asking him to bring his family and leave. However, under the surveillance of the Angel Tribe, the Blood Race, and the Wu people, they couldn't do it. Chapter 45-30. Everyone from the Taishu dynasty had many thoughts in their minds, but no one said a word. You'd better tell us quickly. Otherwise, the Taishu dynasty will be annihilated. Yelu Chuan said. You want us to betray Heavenly King Hidden Dragon? Dream on. If you want to kill us, then kill us. At this moment, a brawny man shouted. This man was a general of the Taishu dynasty, an 8th-level divine lord. He had received Lu Ming's favor back then and was loyal to Lu Ming. How dare you disrespect the divine lord? You're courting death. A brawny man from the angel race shouted coldly as his eyes flashed with cold killing intent. Bang! The 8th-level divine lord general of the Taishu Holy Court exploded, his body and soul destroyed. Lan Shang, Undying Demon King, and the others sucked in a breath of cold air. They didn't even see how the brawny man from the angel race attacked. They only heard him shout and the body of an 8th-level divine lord of the Taishu dynasty exploded. What kind of method was that? Silently killing an 8th-level divine lord without making a sound, making the other party unable to fight back. Even the Undying Demon King couldn't do it. The difference was too great. The experts of the angel race were unfathomable. Apart from the angel race, there were 2 other forces that were also terrifying. How could they fight against such enemies? And what kind of realm was the Divine Lord? Jingma, Kong Shishue, Blue Merchant, Undying Demon King and the others were confused. They had never heard of the Divine Lord realm. Blue Merchant, 1,000 Holy Old Heavenly King and the others only knew of the Divine Emperor realm. In their eyes, the Divine Emperor realm was the synonym of invincibility. When Undying Demon King was at his peak, he had gone out to explore the universe. However, he only went to a few of the bigger forces and the strongest he knew was the Divine Lord realm. Was the Divine Lord realm a higher realm? I advise you not to hide anything. Our strength isn't something you can guess. If you don't tell us, you'll end up miserable. Yelu Chuan said coldly. Jingma, Kong Shishue, and the Undying Demon King all looked hesitant. For Jingma and Kong Shishue, Lu Ming was their savior. It could be said that without Lu Ming, they wouldn't be where they were today. If it was not necessary, they would not betray Lu Ming. As for the Undying Demon King, he was very afraid of Lu Ming because of the anti-magic restriction placed on him by the Bone Devil. If he really betrayed Lu Ming and Lu Ming didn't die, then he would be in trouble. As for Blue Merchant, Holy Old Heavenly King, and Tian, they would never betray Lu Ming. Therefore, no one spoke for a while. Looks like you guys are still holding on to hope. Don't you know what I'm capable of? Yelu Chuan said coldly. Then, he stretched out his hand and grabbed at the universe. Then, Jingma, Kong Shishue, Undying Demon King, Blue Merchant, Holy Old Heavenly King, and the others narrowed their eyes and opened their mouths in shock. Huge stars could be seen hanging in the distant starry sky of the universe. At this moment, 5 huge stars suddenly moved towards them. They were very fast. Soon, not far from Taishu Sacred Capital, 5 huge stars appeared. They emitted terrifying heat, causing the temperature of the area to rise rapidly. Obviously, these 5 stars had been captured by Yelu Chuan from a distance. However, this was not the most shocking thing. The most shocking thing was yet to come. When the 5 stars approached Taishu Sacred Capital, they began to shrink rapidly. It was as if there was an invisible force shrouding the 5 stars and compressing them, causing them to shrink continuously. Soon, the 5 stars were compressed into 5 round balls the size of walnuts. They were fiery red like 5 fiery red crystal beads and fell into Yelu Chuan's hand. Kacha, kacha. Yelu Chuan held the 5 round balls in his hand and slowly played with them. When the people of the Taishu dynasty saw this, their eyes almost popped out of their sockets. They were almost scared to death. Shock, incomparable shock, heartless and endless shock. God, what kind of power is this? Those were 5 incomparably huge stars, but with a casual grab from Yelu Chuan, They were compressed into 5 walnut-sized balls that he could grasp in his hand. If they had not seen it with their own eyes, they would never have dreamed that there was such a powerful person in the universe. What kind of cultivation was this? What kind of power was this? This level of strength was already inconceivable. An ordinary Sir God, if he attacked with all his strength, could cause a devastating blow to a planet. A battle between several slightly stronger divine lords could even blow up an ordinary planet with life. Of course, this referred to ordinary planets with life. Moreover, there were no defensive formations set up on them. A quasi-emperor-level existence could easily blow up an ordinary planet with life. However, stars were different. The size of a star was often tens of thousands of times larger than an ordinary planet. It could even be hundreds of thousands or even millions of times larger. It was too difficult to blow up a star. Quasi-emperors would never be able to do it. Even a divine emperor like Undying Demon could not do it. However, it was just destroying a star. Compared to the difficulty of grabbing 5 stars, compressing them into the size of walnuts, and playing with them in his hand, it was simply incomparable. The difference was like the difference between a candle flame and a bright moon. This kind of means was simply beyond the scope of their imagination. Was this the power of the Angel Clan, the overlord of the universe? This was too terrifying. Lu Ming had actually offended such a powerful person. There was only one outcome for him, and that was to be dead. Blue Merchant, Holy Old Heavenly King, Etion, and the others looked pale. They were worried about Lu Ming. Jingma, Kong Shixue, and Undying Demon's eyes began to flicker. They were deep in thought. I'll give you a chance. Tell me the whereabouts of Lu Ming's family. Not only will I not kill you, but I will also reward you with a supreme opportunity. I don't have much time. Tell me quickly. Yelu Chuan said lightly. The struggle in Jingma, Kong Shixue, and Undying Demon's eyes became more intense. They did not want to say anything, but the other party was too strong. Even if they did not say anything, they could not stop him from searching their souls. At most we will die. Everyone, I believe in Lu Ming. He will avenge us. Blue Merchant roared. His eyes were filled with determination. You're courting death. The Angel Clan burly man who attacked previously roared. An invisible force pressed on Blue Merchant. With Blue Merchant's cultivation, he would definitely not be able to block this person's attack. He would die on the spot like the previous 8th level Divine Lord General. However, at this moment, a cold voice sounded. I think you're the one courting death. Then, the space in front of Blue Merchant directly cracked. A figure suddenly emerged. The power of the Angel Clan's attack fell on this person, but it did not cause any ripples. Chapter 45-31. The person who had suddenly appeared was naturally Lu Ming. He had left the Hidden Dragon Heavenly King Palace and broken the void. His speed was astonishing. In a short while, he had arrived at the Taishu Sacred Capital. As soon as he arrived at the Taishu Sacred Capital, he saw the angel trying to kill Blue Merchant. Lu Ming was enraged. He shouted furiously and broke the void to appear in front of Blue Merchant. He blocked the attack for Blue Merchant. At the same time, a spear light suddenly appeared above the angel's head. The angel only had the cultivation of the first great supreme god layer. The difference between him and Lu Ming was too great. How could he block Lu Ming's attack? The Divine Lord of the Angel Clan had never thought that Lu Ming would suddenly appear. He wanted to save him, but it was too late. Poof! The angel's head was pierced through by the spear light. His soul was destroyed and he died on the spot. His corpse was sucked into the Taishu Sacred Capital and smashed into the city wall. This, Lu Ming, it's Lu Ming. He killed the Angel Clan's expert? Jingma, Kong Shixue, the Undying Demon King, Blue Merchant and the others immediately noticed Lu Ming. They were astonished. Lu Ming had actually killed the burly man from the Angel Clan just now? Moreover, he had killed him in one move. The Angel Clan's expert strength had left a deep impression on them. He had silently killed an 8th great supreme god expert. His strength was unfathomable. He was definitely stronger than the Undying Demon King. Such an expert could easily destroy a force like the Taishu dynasty. He was an existence that was far beyond their reach. He was also an existence that was incomparably terrifying. Such an existence had been killed by Lu Ming in one move. After recovering from their shock, they took a deep breath. Lu Ming is already so strong? It seems like I have seriously underestimated him. Blue Merchant sighed in his heart. He's too strong. In just 1,000 years, Lu Ming has actually reached such a level. It's simply incredible. No wonder he was able to reshape the structure of the Taishu dynasty. He's even more amazing than Jingyu back then. Kong Shishue was also amazed. Especially the undying Demon King, who could not help but break out in cold sweat. Because he remembered that a few days ago, he seemed to have provoked Lu Ming and wanted to spar with Lu Ming. He even wanted to take down Lu Ming and have Lu Ming remove the anti-magic restriction on him. Thinking of this, he felt a lingering fear. His strength was too far from Lu Ming's. Wanting to spar with Lu Ming with this kind of strength, wasn't that just looking for a beating? Fortunately, he sensed Lu Ming's terrifying aura and stopped in time. At first, he thought that Lu Ming should have at least reached the third godly emperor layer. But now he realized that he had underestimated Lu Ming. Could it be that Lu Ming has already reached the high-level godly emperor layer, or even the legendary divine emperor layer? But he has only been away for 1,000 years. How is that possible? The undying Demon King could not figure it out. Lu Ming! It's Lu Ming! The angels, the Blood Clan, and the Wu people were also shocked. They had come here to capture Lu Ming's family and friends and then hand them over to the Heavenly Human Clan to threaten Lu Ming. They had never thought that Lu Ming himself would be there too. Great, great. Ha ha ha. Yelu Chuan reacted quickly and couldn't help but laugh wildly. The Blood Clan and the Wu people also reacted the same way. If Lu Ming was there, why would they capture Lu Ming's family and friends? Wouldn't it be more meritorious for them to capture Lu Ming and hand him over to the Heavenly Human Clan? Bang! One of the Blood Clan's divine lords stepped into the air, exuding a terrifying aura. Under this aura, the entire starry sky was trembling. Then Wu Si, Yelu Chuan, and the others of the Wu people also released powerful qi. Rumble! It was as if the sky and the earth had turned upside down, the sun and the moon had sunk, and the boundless starry sky was shaking. The stars in the distance were shaking as if they were about to fall. The qi of a godly master was too terrifying. Lu Ming used forbidden strength to envelop Blue Merchant and the others. Otherwise, they would not be able to withstand such a powerful qi and would be crushed to death. Haha, as the saying goes, a well-intentioned flower doesn't bloom, but an unintentional willow grows. Lu Ming, you delivered yourself to me. Good, very good, very good. Yelu Chuan laughed. Lu Ming, surrender yourself without putting up a fight. A godly master of the Blood Clan said. You want to capture me with just you? Haha. Lu Ming sneered. To be honest, he didn't take these people seriously. These people actually found this place, making him feel waves of lingering fear in his heart. Fortunately, he had come back early. If he had come back a few days later, not only would the Taishu dynasty be in danger, but his family and friends would also be in danger. He had put these people on his must-kill list. In his heart, they were already dead. Ha ha ha, Lu Ming, you're too arrogant. I admit that you're very talented. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that you're the best in the universe, but do you really think you can fight against me? Yelu Chuan sneered confidently. Lu Ming's cultivation was merely at the 9th level of the Emperor God realm. Yes, he didn't know that Lu Ming had broken through to the Godly Master realm. The heavenly human race knew that Lu Ming had broken through to the Godly Master realm in the Life-Soul Heavenly Court. However, in the eyes of the heavenly human race, the Blood Clan, and the other races were just slaves. The heavenly human race didn't have the habit of ruling over their slaves. In fact, Lu Ming had broken through to the Godly Master realm not long ago. Even among the heavenly human race, only a few people knew about it. The angels, the Blood Clan, and the Wu people didn't know that Lu Ming had broken through to the Godly Master realm. They still thought that Lu Ming was a 9th-level divine god. Moreover, Yelu Chuan was a 2nd-level divine lord, not a 1st-level divine lord. Naturally, he didn't put Lu Ming under pressure. You can try. Lu Ming said indifferently. Don't overestimate yourself. Kneel. Yelu Chuan shouted and slapped down. This palm was 100 times more dazzling than the sun. A huge palm formed in the sky and pressed down on Lu Ming. When the palm struck out, the starry sky trembled. The universe couldn't withstand such a terrifying power. Huge cracks appeared and stretched endlessly. Some of the stars, including the stars, directly exploded. Terrifying, too terrifying. This kind of attack could destroy the world. Jingma, Kong Shishue, Undying Demon King, and the others couldn't help but tremble under the attack. Deep fear rose in their hearts. Helplessness. Under such an attack, they felt a deep sense of helplessness. No matter what they did, they could not escape. There was only death. Their souls would scatter, and they would be turned into ashes. It's over. Jingma, Kong Shishue, Undying Demon King, and the others thought. Lu Ming, go. Don't worry about us. Blue Merchant shouted. However, Lu Ming still had a faint smile on his face. Lan Shu, it's okay. I'll go take their heads. Lu Ming smiled. Then, a terrifying aura erupted from his body as if a volcano had erupted. Then he punched. Chapter 45-32. Lu Ming threw a punch. A bright fist force erupted, piercing through the void and colliding with Yelu Chuan's condensed palm. It directly pierced through Yelu Chuan's fist force. Your cultivation. How is that possible? Yelu Chuan couldn't believe it, shouting in shock. Lu Ming's aura burst out, revealing his cultivation level. Divine Lord Realm. Lu Ming's cultivation level was at the Divine Lord Realm. Yelu Chuan was shocked, as were the experts of the Angel race, the Blood race, and the Wu people. When he was in the Grand Supreme Immortal City, Lu Ming's cultivation level was only at the 9th level of the Emperor God realm. According to reliable sources, Lu Ming's cultivation level had just broken through to the 9th level of the Emperor God realm. He had not been in the 9th level of the Emperor God realm for a long time. Lu Ming had accumulated so much in just a few years. He had broken through to the Divine Lord realm. Jingma, Kong Shishue, the Immortal Demon King, Blue Merchant, and the others were also shocked. Lu Ming's aura was too terrifying, giving them a feeling that it was boundless, unfathomable, and unfathomable. Yelu Chuan's horrifying palm strike, that seemingly irresistible palm strike, was actually defeated by Lu Ming's punch. Was this Lu Ming's real strength? They couldn't calm down. Old man, I'll send you to hell. Lu Ming's eyes were like lightning, emitting cold killing intent. He took a step forward and charged towards Yelu Chuan. All the cells in his body trembled. Vast and boundless taboo power surged out continuously, converging into a vast ocean-like power that surged toward Lu Ming's fists. Boom! Lu Ming punched again, shattering the void. The terrifying fist energy pierced through the universe and headed towards Yelu Chuan. Before the fist energy reached him, the pressure from the void had already pressed down on some of the Angel race, the Blood race, and the Wu people. These people had pained looks on their faces as they howled in pain. Cracks could be seen on the surface of these people's bodies. Under the terrifying pressure, their bodies became distorted and deformed, and finally, with a bang, they exploded. Before the fist force arrived, more than 20 people from the 3 races were killed by the pressure of the fist force. All of this took a long time to describe, but it actually happened in an instant. In an instant, the fist energy closed in on Yelu Chuan, locking him in place. Angel Battle Sword. Yelu Chuan roared. 10 angelic wings appeared on his back. Holy light soared to the sky as an angelic sword flew out, slashing out a terrifying sword light that collided with Lu Ming's fist energy. Boom! With a deafening boom, Yelu Chuan's body was sent flying, crashing into a distant planet. He spat out large mouthfuls of blood. His face was extremely pale. A large hole had been blasted in his chest. His front and back were completely transparent. His body had almost been blasted into 2. In one move, Yelu Chuan was severely injured. This time, the remaining people of the Angels, the Blood tribe, and the Sorcerer tribe were all stunned. Yelu Chuan was a 2nd-level Divine Lord, but he was severely injured in one move. How could Lu Ming's battle strength be so terrifying? Run! Leave this place. We're no match for him. Then, the Angels, vampires, and Wu people panicked. They roared and tried to escape. Although the 3 races had 5 Divine Lords and the vampires had a 2nd-level Divine Lord, they knew that even if they worked together, they were no match for Lu Ming. You can't escape. Lu Ming's cold voice rang out. He activated the Battle Character Manual, increasing his battle strength by 7 times. He waved his hands, and a continent appeared in the sky. The second move of his self-created secret technique, the Primordial Desolate Form. In an instant, the continent expanded rapidly. It was even larger than the Great Illusionary Saint Realm. It covered the sky and the sun, enveloping all the people of the 3 races. Then he pressed down. Kaboom! The violent energy shook the heavens and the earth. The people of the three races had nowhere to run. Block it. Let's attack together. A divine lord from the blood race roared. He transformed into his true form, which was a giant bat. When he spread his wings, they were tens of thousands of miles long. Moreover, the bat's wings were golden. When he flapped his wings, there was an explosion of bloody light. This was a second-layer divine master, and his terrifying aura made Lan Shang, Undying Demon King, and the others turn pale. In addition, there was another first-level divine lord from the blood race. He also transformed into his true form. The other masters of the blood race also transformed into their true forms. The angels of the angel race spread their wings. Holy light spread out and illuminated the sky. The Wu people also attacked with all their might. Black fog filled the sky. The masters of the three races joined forces and attacked the primordial desolate continent with the strongest attack of their lives. Boom! There was an earth-shattering explosion. The universe shook violently. Then, the attacks of the three races collapsed. They couldn't stop Lu Ming's attack at all. Ah! Screams rang out. The bodies of the masters below the divine lord realm of the three races exploded. Their souls were destroyed by the powerful force. They died on the spot. When the primordial desolate continent pressed down, all the masters below the divine lord realm of the three races died. Only 4 divine master realm existences were still alive. There was a first-level divine lord from the angel race, a second-level divine lord and a first-level divine lord from the blood race, and Wu Si from the Wu people. The 4 of them trembled violently, especially the 3 first-level divine lords. Cracks appeared on their skin, and they spat out mouthfuls of blood. The second-level divine lord from the blood race was also injured. One of his golden wings was destroyed. This, Blue Merchant, Jingma, Kong Shishue, Undying Demon King, Thousand Saint Old Heavenly King, and the others had their mouths wide open. They were completely stunned and petrified. At this moment, they felt as if their brains had turned into mush. They couldn't understand what was going on. The shock in his heart could not be greater. One move. With just one move, only a few of the hundreds of masters were left. Those masters who seemed to be lawless and as vast as the abyss, as if they could destroy the universe, were also injured by Lu Ming's attack. As for the others, they died immediately. There were hundreds of masters, and each of them seemed to have terrifying strength. Just now, several hundred people had joined forces to erupt, and each of them had displayed incomparably terrifying strength. They felt that any one of them was stronger than Undying Demon King. Any one of them could defeat the Taishu dynasty, the barbarian race, and the Qianni sacred dynasty. So many masters, and they had joined forces, but they were killed by Lu Ming with one move. Lu Ming's strength was so strong that it was unimaginable. Undying Demon King's body kept trembling. He was afraid. Previously, he wanted to fight with Lu Ming, but he was simply overestimating himself. He was courting death. Lu Ming might be able to crush him into smithereens and destroy his body and soul. Jingma, Kong Shishue, and the others were also shocked. It had only been 1,000 years since Lu Ming left the Taishu dynasty, and he had reached such an unbelievable level. Was he still human? Chapter 45-33. The power is too scattered. It's indeed much weaker. Lu Ming frowned when he saw that the 4 divine masters were still alive. He wasn't satisfied with the power of the Eldritch Barren Land style. He had made the Eldritch Barren Land extremely large with the purpose of covering the hundreds of masters of the 3 races and ensuring that no one could escape. The larger the area, the less powerful it was. Although it was more than enough to kill beings below the God Emperor realm, it wasn't enough to kill divine masters. Several divine masters joined forces to resist, but they were only injured and didn't die. But this is enough. Lu Ming made a grabbing motion in the air, condensing a long spear. He took a step forward, charging towards Yelu Chuan at lightning speed. The long spear pressed down like a mountain, covering the sky and enveloping Yelu Chuan. Yelu Chuan was severely injured and couldn't escape at all. That cold and terrifying murderous aura made Yelu Chuan's heart turn cold. No, don't kill me. I'm a member of the heavenly human race. If you kill me, the heavenly human race won't let you go. Yelu Chuan shouted in fear. Yes, he was from the angel race. His surname wasn't originally this, but he was loyal to the heavenly human race and had made great contributions. so the heavenly human race gave him the surname. This was an extremely honorable thing for all the races in the universe. Being given a surname by the heavenly human race meant that he was half a member of the heavenly human race. He would be respected by all the races in the universe. In fact, this was also a way for the heavenly human race to win people over. The heavenly human race would give surnames to those who had made great contributions and were loyal to the heavenly human race. This was also a way to control the other races. However, Yelu Chuan was desperate. He used the heavenly human race to threaten Lu Ming. Didn't he know that the forbidden body was the enemy of the heavenly human race? If he used the heavenly human race to threaten Lu Ming, he would die even if he didn't. Ridiculous, Lu Ming said coldly. He didn't stop attacking. The long spear pressed down at an even faster speed and finally hit Yelu Chuan's body. Yelu Chuan let out an unwilling scream. Then his body exploded and his soul was destroyed. A second-level divine master was killed just like that. You want to leave? Then, Lu Ming's gaze swept over the surroundings, a cold glint flashing in his eyes. This was because the other 4 divine masters had already fled in all directions. They fled in 4 different directions at an extremely fast speed. Tai Bai was the blood race expert at the second level of the divine master realm. With a flap of his wings, he tore open the starry sky and traveled through the void. In a flash, he was already 1,000,000 miles away. However, how could Lu Ming let them escape? The war god's spear appeared in his hand and taboo energy gushed into it. Whoosh! The war god's spear charged toward the second-level divine master of the blood race. Too fast. The war god's spear was fast to the extreme. It rushed into the dark void and disappeared. But a moment later, a scream came from the distant starry sky, and then a massive figure appeared. It was the blood race second-layer divine lord. However, at that moment, that person's head had already exploded. There was no sound at all. Evidently, he was already dead. At the same time that Lu Ming threw out the war god's spear, Lu Ming used the greater teleportation technique and appeared in front of the Wu people's Wu Si. The 3 first-level divine masters had been severely injured by the Desolate Era's attack, so their speed was greatly affected. Lu Ming caught up with them easily. Lu Ming, Wu Si was shocked and quickly retreated, his heart filled with fear. Back then, he had pursued Lu Ming all the way to the dragon race's mother planet. Back then, the ant that was not worth mentioning in his eyes had now grown to such a level, and could easily kill him. Lu Ming didn't waste any time. The moment he appeared, he threw out a punch. Wu Si roared, his voice stern. He used all his strength to resist, but it was useless. The difference in strength between him and Lu Ming was too great. Moreover, he was injured. With a bang, Wu Si's body exploded. Humph, the substitution technique is useless in front of me, Lu Ming said coldly. He bent his fingers into a claw and grabbed at the void. The void collapsed and a scream could be heard. Lu Ming grabbed a figure out of the void. It was Wu Si. It turned out that Wu Si had used the Wu people's substitution technique. Lu Ming had only killed Wu Si's substitution puppet with one punch. His original body had already escaped into the void and wanted to take the opportunity to escape. However, none of his actions could escape Lu Ming's eyes. He grabbed Wu Si and pulled him out. No, don't kill me, Wu Si shouted in fear. However, Lu Ming's eyes were cold and he didn't want to waste time talking to him. He clenched his hand and a violent energy surged into Wu Si's body. Wu Si's body exploded and his soul was destroyed. As soon as Wu Si died, the war god's spear flew back to Lu Ming's hand and was caught by Lu Ming. Swish! Lu Ming swung the war god's spear again, and it flew toward the other first-level divine lord of the blood race. As for himself, he used the greater teleportation technique and charged toward the first-level divine lord of the angel race. The slight delay in killing Wu Si had allowed the 2 first-level divine lords to escape far away. However, Lu Ming was confident that the war god's spear was enough to kill the first-level divine lord of the blood race. After Lu Ming had infused the war god's spear with forbidden energy, it had become extremely powerful. Moreover, the war god's spear was a top-grade origin-grade divine weapon and possessed a powerful spirituality. It was more than enough to kill an injured first-level divine lord of the blood race. Swish! 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 Lu Ming hurriedly chased after the angel. The distance between the two of them was constantly closing. Too terrifying. Lu Ming is too terrifying. I must spread the news to the angel race, to the celestial race. The first-level divine lord of the angel race fled while using the illusory divine jade to spread the news. Heaven sundering style. Kill. Lu Ming coldly roared as he transformed into a spear. At the same time, he erupted with origin energy. Originally, Lu Ming didn't need to use origin energy to deal with trash like this, but in order to kill this person as quickly as possible, he had no choice. Lu Ming couldn't allow the angel race to spread the news. Although he would take his family and friends with him, including those he was close with, he would take them with him. However, there were still some people who would stay behind. For example, the Lu family, Jingma, Kong Shixue, and the others would stay behind. If the celestial race found out about this, they would definitely unleash their wrath and turn the Taishu dynasty into a purgatory. From the fate of the elf race, one could see that the celestial race would never show mercy to other races. The heaven sundering style had the advantage of the greater extreme light art. His speed instantly increased, and he shot forward like an aurora, instantly catching up to the first-level divine lord of the angel race. Before the angel race could use the illusory divine jade to spread the news, Lu Ming's spear pierced through his body, and the terrifying energy reduced his body to ashes. With a wave of his hand, he put away the angel race's storage ring. Lu Ming took a step forward and returned to the Great Void's sacred capital, where Blue Merchant and the others were waiting. Chapter 45-34. As soon as Lu Ming returned to Blue Merchant and the others, the Battle God Spear flew back with a storage ring. Apparently, the Battle God Spear had killed the Blood Tribe's divine master. With a thought, the Battle God Spear turned into a ray of light and flew into Lu Ming's glabella, disappearing from sight. At this moment, Jingma, Kong Shixue, Blue Merchant, Undying Demon King, Thousand Holy Heavenly King, Etion, and the others were completely dumbfounded. They stood there as if they had been petrified. Their eyes were fixed on Lu Ming. They thought they were dreaming. But this dream was too real, wasn't it? That terrifying aura, the aura that made the galaxy tremble, the aura that terrified them, it was too real. How could it be fake? How could it be a dream? Even if they were dreaming, they wouldn't dream of such a scene. That kind of power was beyond the limits of their imagination. But Lu Ming was too crazy, wasn't he? How could Lu Ming be so powerful? Monster and freak weren't enough to describe Lu Ming. Blue Merchant, Thousand Holy Heavenly King, are you ready? Let's go now. Lu Ming reminded them. Okay. Blue Merchant and the others finally snapped out of their daze. No, Hidden Dragon Heavenly King. I wonder if we can send more people to go with you? Kong Shixue said, looking nervously at Lu Ming. She seemed very reserved. Before she knew about Lu Ming's true combat strength, she could still get along with Lu Ming as an equal. After all, she was the mother of the new Great Void Saint Emperor, and Lu Ming was just a heavenly king. But now when he faced Lu Ming, he could no longer maintain his composure. There was only fear and trepidation. She knew very well that given her status, she was nothing in front of Lu Ming. In the primitive universe, everything was based on the truth. With strength came status. With Lu Ming's cultivation and strength, it would be easy for him to create a force thousands of times stronger than the Taishu dynasty. Therefore, she was trembling with fear in front of Lu Ming. She was afraid that she would say something wrong and make Lu Ming unhappy. After saying that, she looked at Lu Ming nervously. Sure, as soon as possible. Lu Ming said. He wanted to return to the Heaven Destroyer's base as soon as possible. After all, when he first came out, he had sealed Xian Yanqing and Autumn Moon. Now, Xian Yanqing and Autumn Moon should have been unsealed long ago. What would they do after they were unsealed? Would the water directly rush into the elven territory? It was very dangerous there. Lu Ming couldn't help but worry. And here, it was too far away from the base of the universe ruins. The voice-transmitting jade talisman couldn't reach that far. Lu Ming couldn't even inquire about the news. Okay, let's do it as soon as possible. Kong Shixue nodded repeatedly and immediately left with Jingma. In fact, after seeing Lu Ming's strength, even they themselves wanted to leave with Lu Ming. But after thinking about it, they still couldn't bear to leave the foundation here. In the end, they decided to send more people to cultivate with Lu Ming. Well, Lu Ming. No, Senior, I was wrong before. I was blind and offended you. Please forgive me. You are a great man and don't hold grudges against me. Haha. Immortal Demon also came over. He actually admitted that he was a junior and put his posture very low in front of Lu Ming. In the universe, strength was the most important thing. In terms of strength, it wasn't wrong for him to call Lu Ming a senior. Of course, this also needed to be thick-skinned. Those who weren't thick-skinned really couldn't say it out loud. It's okay, but you'd better not think too much in the future. Let me tell you, I won't treat you badly if you follow me. Lu Ming said lightly. Don't worry, young Master Ming. In the future, I will follow your lead and be at your beck and call. Immortal Demon swore. Lu Ming muttered in his heart. Why didn't he realize that this old guy was so thick-skinned before? This, Blue Merchant and Heavenly King Qian Shang hesitated on the side. After seeing Lu Ming's true strength, they also became a little cautious in front of Lu Ming. They were all smart people. After seeing Lu Ming's strength, they could guess that Lu Ming was probably the strongest existence in the universe. The gap between them was too big. Lan Shu, Heavenly King Qian Shang, you have been very kind to me. You don't have to be so cautious. I am still the same person as before. Lu Ming said. Hearing Lu Ming's words, Blue Merchant and Heavenly King Qian Shang heaved a sigh of relief. Otherwise, they wouldn't know how to face Lu Ming in the future. Immortal Demon was envious. If he had known that Lu Ming was so incredible, he would have clung to Lu Ming's leg when he saw Lu Ming back then. It's not too late now. I will definitely rely on this leg. I will break through to a higher level, the first Divine Emperor layer, the second Divine Emperor layer, and even the Divine Emperor layer. The Undying Demon King roared in his heart and warned himself. Given that he had lived for dozens of stellar years, he would not be so agitated. However, Lu Ming was simply too powerful. He was unbelievably powerful. He was so powerful that he found it difficult to remain calm. They didn't have to wait for too long. Jingma and Kong Shishue's people were ready. Let's go in. Lu Ming waved his hand and opened the ancient desolation ring. A huge vortex appeared in the heavenly palace. Blue Merchant, Heavenly King Qian Shang and the others flew into the vortex. Needless to say, they were astonished when they entered the ancient desolation ring. But Lu Ming didn't care. Very quickly, everyone entered the ancient desolation ring. Everyone, see you later. Lu Ming cupped his fists to Kong Shishue and Jingma. Then, he turned around and stepped out. The starry sky cracked automatically. He entered the space crack and disappeared. Only Jingma and Kong Shishue were left behind. They were in a daze. Lu Ming hurried on with all his strength. At the same time, he used the great imitation technique to change his appearance and life origin chi. He turned into a young man from the Angel clan. If he hurried on with his original appearance, he would most likely alarm the people of the Heavenly Palace. After all, he still had to use the wormhole to hurry on. Even though his current speed was very fast, it was still not as fast as using the wormhole. In this way, Lu Ming spent about half a month to return to the Heaven Destroyer's base in the ruins of the universe. After returning to the Heaven Destroyer's base, he immediately rushed to their residence. At their residence, Lu Ming didn't see Xian Yanqing and Autumn Moon. He only saw Wan Shen, Dandan, and Bubbles. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. Could it be that Xian Yanqing and Autumn Moon really went to find him? Wan Shen, Dandan, Bubbles, Xueqi, and Autumn Moon, where did you go? Lu Ming quickly asked. They're fine. Lu Ming, it's great that you're fine. There are rumors in the Heavenly Palace that you're dead. Wan Shen said. That's right. So the people of the Heavenly Palace were bullshitting. I knew it. How could Lu Ming be dead? Do you think it's that easy to follow me? Dandan shouted. As for Bubbles, she hung on Lu Ming's body. Chapter 45-35. Big Brother Lu Ming, I'm so glad that you're fine. Bubbles hung onto Lu Ming's body, wiping her snot and tears on Lu Ming's body. Lu Ming was stunned. Could it be that the Heavenly Palace announced to the public that he had already fallen? That was also possible. After all, when the ancestral land of the elves was destroyed, he rushed into the space crack. There was a high possibility that he would be turned into ashes under the destructive power of the crack. However, it might not be deliberately spread by the Heavenly Palace. After all, there were many people in the Heavenly Palace who saw him rushing into the crack. It was possible that some people made wild guesses and spread it. Of course I'll be fine. By the way, where are Xueqi and Autumn Moon? Lu Ming asked again. Back then, You sealed Miss Xie and Miss Autumn and left alone. After the seal was removed, they were very angry and wanted to go to the elves to find you. We couldn't stop them. Fortunately, Senior Fei Huang came back at that time and stopped them. During this time, Miss Xie and Miss Autumn have been at Senior Fei Huang's residence. Pantheon said. Then I'll go see them now. Lu Ming said. Lu Ming, you have to be mentally prepared. I heard that they are still very angry. Dandan said. By the way, about the news of my death, do they know? Lu Ming asked. They don't know. We didn't dare to tell them. Dandan said. That's good. I have a way to deal with them. Let's go. Lu Ming smiled. Soon, they arrived at Fei Huang's residence and saw Xian Yanqing and Autumn. Lu Ming. Young master. When they saw Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing and Autumn were surprised. However, they soon thought of something, and their faces darkened. Haha, Shao Qing. Mid-Autumn, I'm back. I haven't seen you for a while. I really missed you. Lu Ming said shamelessly. You want to kill us? Lu Ming, in order to save your little fairy lover, you even sacrificed your own life and sealed us. Good, very good. Xian Yanqing sneered, his face cold. As for Autumn, she pouted and looked at Lu Ming with hatred. Autumn has been led astray by Shao Qing. Lu Ming muttered in his heart. Even the gentle and lovely Autumn treated him like this. Lu Ming was very sad. Of course, this also proved that Autumn was really angry. Haha, little Qing, what are you saying? After all, the elf race is implicated by me. I can't just ignore it. Lu Ming laughed, trying to bluff his way out. Humph. Don't try to bluff your way out. Today, you have to give us an explanation. That's right. Young master, you have to give us an explanation. I didn't expect that you would attack us. Autumn is really sad. The two girls didn't give in and pressed on. Wan Shen, Dandan, and Bubbles looked down and pretended not to see anything. Especially Dandan, who smiled from time to time. She looked like she was waiting to see how he would deal with it. Lu Ming, tell me, how do you want an explanation? Xian Yanqing stepped forward. Shao Qing, Autumn, look who I brought. Lu Ming finally used his trump card. That was the diversion of attention. He waved his hand, and a few people appeared in front of Lu Ming. Lu Yuntian, Li Ping, Lu Shenhuang, Lu Qi, and the others. Master, madam. Seeing Lu Yuntian and Li Ping, Autumn was pleasantly surprised. Autumn, my child. I finally meet you. Li Ping teared up when she saw Autumn. Madam. Qiu dashed into Li Ping's arms, tears streaming down her face. She had long forgotten about Lu Ming. Meanwhile, Xian Yanqing's attention was completely attracted by Lu Shenhuang and the others. Shenhuang. Xian Yanqing looked at Lu Shenhuang, her eyes filled with longing and love. Mum. Lu Shenhuang hurried over. Mum. Lu Shenhuang's wife also went over and called out. Grandma, long time no see. I miss you so much. Lu Qi dashed over and grabbed Xian Yanqing's arm, refusing to let go. Qi, I haven't seen you for a while. Your cultivation has almost caught up to your father. Xian Yanqing's cold face had already melted into a smile. He patted Lu Qi's head affectionately. As for Lu Ming's matter, he had already put it aside. Wan Shen, Dandan, and Bubbles were dumbfounded. How did this work? Lu Ming, you're awesome. Wan Shen gave him a thumbs up. Lu Ming, you're despicable and shameless. Bah, you're smart and powerful. You already have some of my style. Dandan whispered to Lu Ming. The reunion of family was joyous and there seemed to be endless topics to talk about. Xian Yanqing and Autumn temporarily forgot about Lu Ming. The unhappiness in their hearts also disappeared. After quite a while, Xian Yanqing and Autumn finally remembered Lu Ming. They both glared at him and let it pass. Half a day later, Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, Qiu, Dandan, Bubbles, and the rest led Lu Yuntian and Li Ping to an open space. There were no living beings living in this place. The conditions for cultivation were also excellent. Heaven Destroyer's base was made up of continents. The foundation of these continents was actually the primeval continent. After being modified by reciprocity experts, the cultivation environment here was extremely good. There were also various places for training. Even if it couldn't compare to the primeval ring, it wasn't bad either. It was 100 times better than the Taishu dynasty. Lu Ming planned to put the people of the Taishu dynasty, the Lu family, Xueqi, and the others here. He didn't plan to let them stay in the primeval ring forever. Although the cultivation environment in the primeval ring was definitely the best for those below the Divine Lord realm, it was much better than here. However, Lu Ming would always carry the primeval ring with him. He would go out adventuring and traveling. Moreover, the heavenly human race would always be watching him. He might run into danger at any time. What if he was captured by the heavenly human race like last time? His family and friends would be in great danger if they followed him. Only when his cultivation was high enough, and he no longer feared any danger, would he put his family and friends in the primeval ring. He naturally wouldn't give a treasure like the primeval ring to others. He had to carry it with him at all times. Of course, this was also because his past and future selves weren't present. If they were, one of them could carry the primeval ring and stay in the Heaven Destroyer's base. That wouldn't be bad. But now, this was all he could do. With a wave of his hand, a huge vortex appeared in the air. Lu Ming's consciousness appeared in the primeval ring and communicated with everyone. After a while, a large number of people flew out. They were the Undying Demon King, Blue Merchant, Thousand Holy Old Heavenly King, and the people of the Lu family. After they came out, they were reluctant to leave. Cultivating in the primeval ring was just too good. In such a short time, some of them even broke through. However, Lu Ming had explained it before, so they could only come out. Moreover, the cultivation conditions here weren't bad either. Immediately, everyone began to make arrangements in an orderly manner. Peak. Chapter 45-36. After seeing that the Taishu dynasty, the Lu family, Xueqi, and the others had arranged everything in an orderly manner, Lu Ming left the place alone and went to ask Fei Huang for a treasure. Then, he came to another place with no one around. The Heaven Destroyer's base was made up of dozens of continents. Moreover, the area of each continent was extremely large. Some large continents were far larger than those planets with life. They could accommodate countless living beings. Moreover, there was more than one Heaven Destroyer's base. It was said that there were several other bases of Heaven Destroyer in the depths of the universe ruins. It was just that Lu Ming had never been there before. Therefore, the Heaven Destroyer's base could be considered vast and sparsely populated. It was simply too easy to accommodate the creatures that Lu Ming had brought with him. Moreover, there was a reason why Lu Ming chose this place. This was because Fei Huang and the other experts had gone to rescue the elves and rescued a portion of them. Those elves lived in this area. Lu Ming stood in the sky and looked into the distance. He could see a dense forest in front of him. There were some wooden houses built in the forest, and from time to time, figures would flash by. With Lu Ming's eyesight, he could naturally see clearly that those were all elves. Of course, this forest couldn't be compared to the elf palace. The difference was too great. The elf palace had countless incomparably huge elven ancient trees. Those ancient trees were thousands or even tens of thousands of miles tall. They covered the sky and produced endless wood essence. They would also produce a large number of elven wood hearts, which were very helpful to the cultivation of the elves. However, the forest in front of him was just an ordinary tree. It was worlds apart from the elven ancient trees. After Lu Ming communicated with Ling Yue with his spiritual sense, he opened the door of the Great Desolate Ring and a huge vortex appeared in the air. Ling Yue was the first to fly out. Soon after, the other elves also flew out. There weren't many of them. Some of them were the people that had been saved on that island, while the others were the elven geniuses in the elven ancestral land. When these elves came out and saw Lu Ming, they all glared at him angrily. Lu Ming was expressionless and pretended not to see it. Yue, our clansmen live in the forest ahead. In the future we shall live in this region. Lu Ming said. Yes. Ling Yue nodded. At this moment, the other elves also discovered the forest and immediately revealed expressions of joy. Now, the elf race was almost completely annihilated. They originally thought that they might be the only ones who survived. Now that they saw other elves, they were naturally ecstatic. They immediately flew towards the forest. When they approached the forest, they were immediately discovered by the elves in the forest. The elves in the forest immediately flew out. Immediately, numerous figures appeared in the sky above the forest. About 50 million people. Lu Ming thought. His spirit sense swept out and enveloped the entire forest, roughly estimating the number of elves living in the forest. 50 million people might seem like a lot, but it was actually very little. One had to know that in the past, the elf race had occupied a large number of star regions. The elf race had thrived for countless years, giving birth to countless members of their race. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to describe it as trillions. 50 million people, compared to the past, was really a drop in the ocean. Moreover, many of these 50 million elves had ordinary knowledge. Their cultivation was very low, and they couldn't even fly in the air. Only about 1 million could fly in the sky above the forest. Compared to the previous base of the elf race, it was really too little. Moreover, Lu Ming didn't find a single divine master. The strongest was only at the 9th level of the divine god realm. It seemed that the divine master of the elf race was targeted by the heavenly palace at the first moment and sent experts to hunt them down. Therefore, none of them escaped. When Fei Huang and the others received the news and rushed over, it was already too late. The experts of the elf race were either killed or captured. Not only were the elites killed, but even the ordinary elves were also killed. As for the rest, most of them were captured by the heavenly palace as slaves. Therefore, even with Fei Huang and the others' abilities, they could only bring out 50 million elves. Princess, it's the princess. The princess is fine. That's great, that's great. The heavens have blessed us. In the sky above the forest, the elves were overjoyed when they saw Ling Yue. They quickly flew over and bowed to Ling Yue. Everyone, there's no need to be so polite. There's no need to be so polite. Ling Yue hurriedly said. Princess, I heard that the elf ancestral land was surrounded and a great battle broke out behind it. The elf ancestral land collapsed. How did we escape? Someone asked. We've heard about the elf ancestral land. What happened after the great battle in the elf ancestral land? Ling Yue was not in a hurry to answer. I heard that the evil spirit lord of the ancestral land has appeared and fought with the people of the heavenly palace. The battle destroyed the heavens and the earth, and even the ancestral land was destroyed. Later on, more experts from the heavenly palace came, and I heard that they suppressed the evil spirit lord. This person used to be an elder of the elf race and had a cultivation of the 9th level of the divine lord realm. Before Ling Yue came, he had the highest status in the elf race. The reason why we were able to escape was all thanks to Lu Ming risking his life to save us. At this time, Ling Yue pointed at Lu Ming and said, What? Lu Ming? It's him, it's Lu Ming. It's all his fault. It's all because of him that the heavenly palace attacked us elves. It's all his fault. Many of the elves roared as they stared at Lu Ming hatefully. Everyone, back then, Lu Ming changed his name to Mu Yun unintentionally. He also felt very guilty, and if he hadn't risked his life to save us, we would have died at the hands of the elves. Ling Yue hurriedly explained. The knot in her heart towards Lu Ming had already been untied. Her heart was naturally on Lu Ming's side, and she wanted to resolve the grudge between Lu Ming and the elves. Princess, don't be fooled by him. That's right. If it wasn't for him, how could our clan be like this? How could His Majesty have died in battle? The elves naturally wouldn't forgive Lu Ming so easily. They were still glaring at Lu Ming. Sigh. Ling Yue sighed in her heart. Then with a thought, a jade bottle appeared in her hand. Opening the jade bottle, an incomparably exuberant life essence spread out, attracting the attention of every elf. All the elves looked at the jade bottle, revealing looks of doubt and shock. This aura. Why does it look so much like the holy tree seed? Really, I feel like it too. However, that holy tree seed was successfully nurtured by us and turned into the elven holy tree. Later on, it was cut off by the celestial race. How could another holy tree seed appear here? A few Divine Lord Realm elves discussed animatedly. They were all in the Divine Lord Realm and could be considered the upper echelons of the elf clan. Naturally, they knew a lot of things. The holy tree seed that Lu Ming had brought out had been successfully nurtured and turned into the elven holy tree. Although it hadn't grown into a big tree yet, it was only a matter of time. However, when the heavenly palace attacked, it was cut off. Chapter 45-37. The elves were all puzzled because the aura emitted by the jade bottle in Ling Yue's hand was too similar to the holy tree seed. At this time, Ling Yue picked up the jade bottle. With the lid down, a seed flew out. It was the holy tree seed. The holy tree seed emitted a hazy radiance, and an incomparably dense life energy was emitted, enveloping all the elves. Bathed in the dense life energy, all the elves felt their pores open, and they felt incomparably comfortable. The holy tree seed. It really is the holy tree seed. The princess actually has a holy tree seed in her hands. It's truly a blessing from the heavens. The heavens have not destroyed our elf clan. Even if the heavenly palace wanted to destroy us, they would not be able to do so. That's right. With the new holy tree seed and the princess talent, our elf clan will definitely rise again and be stronger than before. All the elves were overjoyed. Many of them couldn't hold it in and started to roar. The holy tree seed could nurture the elven holy tree. The elven holy tree was too important to the elves. Within the range of the elven holy tree, it could turn ordinary trees into elven ancient trees and give birth to elven wood hearts. Furthermore, when the elves cultivated on the elven holy tree, not only would their cultivation speed be astonishing, they would also be able to continuously improve their talent and purify their bloodline, allowing the elves' talent to become stronger and stronger. One had to know that at the peak of the elf clan's history, they were close to the top 10 races. That was because of the elven holy tree. Later on, when the elf clan was in chaos and the elven holy tree was cut down, the strength of the elf clan plummeted and continued to decline until it reached the 33rd rank of the great desolate 10,000 races. From this, it could be seen how important the elven holy tree was. In addition, they also had the elf princess Ling Yue. In the battle of the supreme immortal city, Ling Yue had revealed her terrifying talent. She was actually able to compete with the heavenly daughter of the celestial clan, reaching a shocking 11 stars of battle strength. This kind of talent could be said to be the best in the elf clan. In the history of the elf clan, there had never been such an astonishing genius. In time, the elf princess Ling Yue would definitely become a peak expert in the universe, and her cultivation would even surpass the ancestors of the elf clan. With these two blessings, it was not impossible for the elf clan to reach their peak in the future, or even further. Many elves' eyes that were filled up with despair, long, and Ling Yue that was, long Yue, long. In a short period of time, they had seen Ling Yue and the elven tree seed. This was a great surprise for them. Everyone, this is indeed the seed of the holy tree. Furthermore, this seed was given to us by Lu Ming. Ling Yue said loudly. Everyone fell silent and looked at Lu Ming in disbelief. Princess, did Lu Ming give us this seed of the holy tree as well? Really? Don't speak up for him. The old elder said. They were all veterans of the martial arts world, so how could they not see that Ling Yue was siding with Lu Ming? It's absolutely true. Think about it, where would I get the holy tree seed from? If I had it, I would have handed it over long ago. Actually, during the holy seed assessment, Lu Ming obtained a total of 2 holy tree seeds. He gave one to the elf tribe and kept the other for himself. Now the holy fairy tree that we nurtured has already been destroyed by the heavenly human tribe. So he has given us the second seed of the holy fairy tree from his collection in order to help the fairy tribe develop. Ling Yue said. So that's how it is. The hearts of the elves stirred as they felt that it was very possible. Just as Ling Yue had said, if she had the seed of the holy tree, she would have taken it out to cultivate it long ago. After all, the holy tree seed would only be of great use if it was nurtured into a holy tree. A single holy tree seed was useless. And since Lu Ming was able to obtain 1 holy tree seed back then, it was not impossible for him to obtain 2. The elves fell silent. The holy tree seed was something that they desperately desired, but it was still impossible for them to let go of their grudges and forgive Lu Ming. Yue, then let's nurture the holy tree seed into a holy fairy tree now. At this moment, Lu Ming, who had been silent all this time, suddenly opened his mouth. What? Now? Ling Yue was stunned. She was tongue-tied as she looked at Lu Ming. What did Lu Ming say just now? He was going to nurture the holy tree seed into a holy fairy tree now? How was this possible? It wasn't that easy to nurture the holy tree seed into a holy fairy tree. It was extremely difficult and the process was extremely complicated. One had to gather a large amount of suitable heavenly materials and earthly treasures and expend a large amount of resources and energy in order to successfully nurture it. And now, there were only these people left in the elf clan. They didn't have any treasures to nurture the holy tree seed. They didn't do any preparatory work, so how could they nurture the holy tree? It turned out that Lu Ming didn't know how difficult it was to nurture the holy tree. A holy tree was nurtured the same as an ordinary tree? The other elves were also somewhat dumbfounded. Some of them even revealed mocking expressions. Of course it's now. Let's go. With that, Lu Ming pulled Ling Yue's small hand and flew towards the sky above the forest. Very quickly, they arrived at the center of the forest and landed on an empty space below. Many of the elves also flew over to watch. They wanted to see how Lu Ming would nurture the holy tree of the elves. In their opinion, this was simply impossible. He didn't do any preparatory work, nor did he have any heavenly materials or earthly treasures to nurture the holy tree of the elves. Yue, give me the holy tree seed, Lu Ming said. N. Ling Yue nodded her head in a daze and handed the holy tree seed to Lu Ming. Lu Ming took the holy tree seed and placed it on the ground. Following that, a jade bottle appeared in Lu Ming's hand. He opened the jade bottle and poured a green liquid onto the holy tree seed. Wang. Suddenly, the holy tree seed seemed to tremble for a moment, as if it had produced a powerful suction force that absorbed the green liquid into the seed. Lu Ming continued to pour it out as the holy tree seed continued to absorb it. Very quickly, the jade bottle was empty and all the green liquid was absorbed by the holy tree seed. At this moment, the holy tree seed trembled again and then emitted a dazzling light. Waves of unimaginably dense life essence continuously spread out. Enveloped by this life essence, the other trees in the forest began to grow crazily. The ancient trees that were originally only a few hundred meters tall grew crazily, becoming 1,000 meters tall, a few thousand meters tall, 10,000 meters tall. The diameter of the trees was also crazily increasing. It's revived. The holy tree seed has revived. Some of the elves cried out loudly. At the scene, all the elves were stunned. The holy tree seed had actually revived. How was this possible? Especially the few Divine Lord Realm elves, they were even more shocked. They clearly remembered how much effort and price the elves had paid to revive the holy tree seed last time. And now, it was revived just like that. Chapter 45-38. The people of the elf clan were all stunned. Lu Ming had only poured a bottle of green liquid down, and the holy tree seed had already revived? Wasn't this too easy? It was so easy that it felt unreal. Look, the holy tree seed has taken root. Suddenly, another loud roar resounded throughout the entire place. At this moment, the sky above this area was filled with elves, all of them staring at the holy tree seed. The holy tree seed had really sprouted. At a speed visible to the naked eye, white and tender roots extended from the seed wall and pierced into the soil. It's taking root. Is it really taking root? Are you sure you didn't see wrongly? Quickly tell me. Some of the elves who couldn't squeeze in and couldn't see shouted, urgently wanting to know the situation of the holy tree seed. It really took root. Not only did it take root, it even sprouted. It sprouted. Heavens, it really sprouted. Many elves cried out. At this moment, a few Divine Lord Realm Elf clan elders and Ling Yue all widened their eyes as they stared blankly at the holy tree seed. This was because the holy tree seed was really taking root and sprouting. At the beginning, a spore grew. Following that, a few leaves grew out of the spore. The leaves continued to grow, and a root grew out. A small sapling appeared in front of everyone's eyes. The growth speed was too fast. It had only been a few minutes, but the holy tree seed had already grown into a small sapling. The holy tree seed that had grown into a small sapling could no longer be called a holy tree seed. It could already be called the Elven Holy Tree. Of course, this was only the beginning. The Elven Holy Tree sapling was still growing at an astonishing speed. Very quickly, it grew to a meter tall and was as thick as a thumb. However, it was still growing at an astonishing speed. 1 meter tall, 2 meters tall, 3 meters tall, 10 meters tall, 20 meters tall, 50 meters tall, 800 meters tall, 300 meters tall, 800 meters tall. It grew crazily and quickly reached a height of 1,000 meters. However, it did not stop. Between heaven and earth, endless energy continuously surged towards the Elven Holy Tree. Then, it turned into an incomparably dense life essence and was emitted. In the process of absorbing and emitting, the Elven Holy Tree grew crazily. At this moment, there was no longer any sound at the scene. All the elves raised their heads and stared blankly at the Elven Holy Tree growing. They were too shocked, so shocked that they had already become numb. The 1,000-meter-tall Elven Sacred Tree had already surpassed the Elven Sacred Tree cultivated by the elves. However, the elf clan had spent a great deal of effort to cultivate that tree. It had taken them nearly 1,000 years to cultivate it to that level. However, the Elven Holy Tree had surpassed the Elven Holy Tree from before in merely a short period of time. Was this a dream? However, many elves had already tried and confirmed that this was definitely not a dream, but reality. The elven sacred tree was still growing. 1,000 meters, 3,000 meters, 10,000 meters, 50,000 meters. In just 3 days, the elven sacred tree had grown to several million meters tall. Its diameter was even more astonishing. From below, one could not even see the top of the enormous elven sacred tree. It covered the sky and covered a large area. At that moment, the elven holy tree's growth slowed down. Although it was still growing, it was much slower than before. The creation divine water is indeed miraculous. No wonder Senior Fei Huang said that it would definitely be able to successfully nurture the holy tree seed. Lu Ming was also full of praise in his heart. That's right, the treasure that Lu Ming had asked Fei Huang for was the creation divine water. Lu Ming had already expected the elf clan's attitude, so he planned to start with the holy tree seed. If he could successfully cultivate the holy tree seed, the elf clan's impression of him would definitely change. The reason he did this wasn't because he really cared about the elf clan's opinion of him. What he cared about was Ling Yue. Ling Yue was sandwiched between him and the elf clan, making things very difficult for her. He was trying to make things easier for Ling Yue. When he spoke of his thoughts, Fei Huang gave Lu Ming a bottle of creation divine water. She said that she had obtained it from the ruins of the universe and that it was enough to nurture the elven sacred tree. Lu Ming had never thought that the effects of the creation divine water would be so heaven-defying. Not only was the cultivation successful, it had also allowed the elven sacred tree to grow to several million meters tall in one fell swoop. The creation divine water was simply a supreme treasure, yet Fei Huang had given it to him so easily. His gratitude towards Fei Huang increased by another portion. Ah, I've broken through. My cultivation has broken through. My cultivation has also broken through. At this moment, a few exclamations broke the silence. The elven sacred tree was constantly emitting a vast amount of life essence. This life essence was extremely helpful to the elves. In such a short period of time, some elves had actually broken through in their cultivation. The other elves also began to observe their own cultivations. Those elves with lower cultivation bases discovered that their cultivation bases had improved imperceptibly. Of course, there were only a few people who had broken through. Those people were already on the verge of breaking through. With the help of the elven sacred tree, they had stimulated their bloodline and broken through in one fell swoop. However, this effect was already heaven-defying. Holy tree. A holy tree that is millions of meters tall. Our clan finally has a holy tree. The rise of our clan is just around the corner. Many elves were so excited that their bodies were trembling. Some of them even shed tears of excitement. Ling Yue was also so excited that her entire body was trembling. Although the elven sacred tree that was millions of meters tall had yet to mature, it was still close. The effect was already very shocking. This could be seen from the surrounding environment. At this moment, this forest had already undergone an earth-shattering change. There were incomparably huge ancient trees everywhere. The life essence was dense, and all kinds of flowers were blooming. There were even many divine medicines in the mountain forest. Not only that, but the area outside the forest was also densely packed with trees that were growing at a speed visible to the naked eye. This forest was several times larger than before. If this continued, it would not be impossible for this area to once again turn into the elven palace of the past. Lu Ming, thank you. Ling Yue looked at Lu Ming and said seriously, "What are you thanking me for? This is what I should do." Lu Ming smiled. "All right, where did you get that treasure?" Ling Yue asked curiously. "Of course I got it from the universe ruins. Ever since I left the Grand Supreme Immortal City, I've always felt sorry, so I entered the universe ruins to explore. I wanted to find a treasure that could promote the elven sacred tree and give it to you as an apology. I didn't expect that my luck was so good that I actually obtained a bottle of creation divine water." Lu Ming smiled. When he lied, his face did not turn red and his heart did not race. It was as if he was telling the truth. Creation divine water? Lu Ming, in order to obtain the creation divine water, you must have suffered a lot. Ling Yue's eyes were filled with gratitude. It's all worth it," Lu Ming said with a face full of affection. Chapter 45-39. After Ling Yue heard this, she was so moved that she was about to cry. She looked at Lu Ming affectionately and said, "Lu Ming, you treat me so well. In the past, I misunderstood you. I believe that the other members of the elf clan will also resolve the misunderstanding with you. It's fine. Even if the whole world misunderstands me, it doesn't matter. As long as you don't misunderstand me, it's fine. Lu Ming continued. He discovered that his skin was getting thicker and thicker. It's all Danden's fault. After hanging out with him for so long, I've been infected by him. I was originally a gentleman. Lu Ming comforted himself in his heart. In another area, Danden inexplicably sneezed a few times. Fuck that bastard. Pfft, which guy is talking bad about me? Danden rubbed his nose and muttered in displeasure. In the elf clan's area, Ling Yue's heart had completely melted as she affectionately grabbed Lu Ming's hand. At this moment, the people of the elf clan had finally calmed down. When they looked at Lu Ming again, the look in their eyes had changed greatly from before. Although there were still some grudges, they were already much lighter. Some of the people who already had a good impression of Lu Ming even revealed a trace of gratitude in their eyes. The seed of the holy tree was originally incomparably precious, but Lu Ming was able to give it away for free. The most important thing was that bottle of green liquid. Now, even a fool would know that the bottle of green liquid was definitely a supreme treasure. Otherwise, how could the seed of the holy tree sprout and grow to millions of meters tall in such a short period of time? One had to know that in the past, the elf clan had used all their strength and spent 1,000 years to cultivate the elven holy tree to a height of 1,000 meters. That had already consumed countless resources. The price of that bottle of green liquid was simply immeasurable. However, Lu Ming had used it. Most importantly, with the elven holy tree that was millions of meters tall, the talent of the elf clan would become higher and higher, and their cultivation speed would also become stronger and stronger. As long as they were given some time, the elf race would multiply and their population would increase. One day, they would be able to return to their peak and walk on the path of prosperity. Because of Lu Ming, the elf race had been destroyed. Now, he had given them a new lease of life. The mood of the elves was complicated, but no matter what, their view of Lu Ming had changed a lot. Yue, stay here for the time being and help our clansmen rebuild. If you need anything, just send me a message. Lu Ming said. Okay. Ling Yue nodded. The elves had just arrived and needed to be rebuilt. She was indeed needed to preside over the overall situation. After that, Lu Ming returned to the residence of the Lu family and the Taishu dynasty. Lu Ming, there are still 10 years left. Spend these 10 years with your family. After 10 years, I will send you off to cultivate. Lu Ming was flying halfway when a voice suddenly sounded in his ears. It was Fei Huang's voice. You're going to be sent to cultivate in 10 years? Senior, why? Lu Ming's spiritual sense fluctuated as he asked. He knew that Fei Huang could hear him. There's not much time left. The Great War is about to begin. You guys have to increase your strength as soon as possible. Right now you guys are still too weak. Fei Huang's voice continued to ring out. Lu Ming understood that the you guys that Fei Huang was talking about should include Xian Yanqing, Autumn Moon, Myriad God, and the others. These were the top geniuses. However, what he didn't understand was, what did it mean that the Great War was about to begin? Was a decisive battle with the Heavenly Palace going to break out? So fast. Therefore, he immediately asked, Senior, could it be that we are going to have a decisive battle with the Heavenly Palace? I'll tell you the specifics in 10 years. In these 10 years, I have to prepare. You should also accompany your family. It won't be so easy in the future. Fei Huang's voice rang out, and then it lowered again. Senior, Senior, Lu Ming called out continuously, but Fei Huang didn't respond. Lu Ming frowned. If even Fei Huang was a little anxious and said that the Great War was about to begin, then the matter must be very serious. The development of the matter was somewhat out of Lu Ming's expectations. Lu Ming originally thought that the decisive battle with the Heavenly Palace wouldn't come so soon. However, according to Fei Huang's words, it might not be too long. Although Fei Huang didn't say it, Lu Ming subconsciously thought that the decisive battle with the Heavenly Palace was about to begin. In the primitive universe, other than the great enemy that was the Heavenly Palace, were there any other enemies? With a lot on his mind, Lu Ming flew over and saw Xian Yanqing, Autumn Moon, Myriad God, Danden, Bubbles, and the others. Xian Yanqing, Autumn Moon, Myriad God, and the others had a heavy expression. After seeing Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing asked, Lu Ming, you also heard Master's voice transmission, right? Xian Yanqing's previous life's Tangqing was Fei Huang's disciple, so Xian Yanqing also addressed Fei Huang as master. I heard it, but there are still 10 years. In these 10 years, we don't have to think too much. Let's have a good rest. Lu Ming walked over and held Xian Yanqing and Autumn Moon's hands as he smiled. He had to appear relaxed. Otherwise, it wouldn't be good if everyone had a lot on their minds. The construction of the new residence was extremely fast. In just a few days, huge cities and huge buildings appeared on the land. The people of the Lu family, Xueqi and his people, Pang Shi and his people, Undying Demon Lord and his people, Thousand Holy Old Heavenly King and his people. These branches, big and small, would all establish a city and settle down. Then they would begin to cultivate. Everything was on the right track. I don't know how long this peace will last. I don't want to be forced to move again. Lu Ming thought silently. If a war broke out, Heaven Destroyer's base would probably not be safe and might be caught in the flames of war. But it was useless to think too much now. He could only improve his strength as soon as possible. After returning to his residence, Lu Ming began to cultivate. Every cell in his body was like a bottomless pit, constantly devouring the energy of heaven and earth, absorbing and refining it. But after a while, Lu Ming stopped and showed a puzzled look. There's no improvement. It's still the same as before. Lu Ming whispered. He found that no matter how he absorbed and refined the energy of heaven and earth, his forbidden body didn't move and didn't improve at all. He had tried it in the primitive universe before, and it was the same when he came to Heaven Destroyer's base. It's just as the legends say. The primitive universe can only support creatures to cultivate to the first level of the Divine Lord realm. This is the highest level that the primitive universe can accommodate. After reaching the first level of the Divine Lord realm, no matter how much energy you absorb from heaven and earth, you can't improve your cultivation. No wonder all the Divine Lord realm overlords go into the universe ruins. Maybe there's an environment or treasure in the universe ruins that can improve the Divine Lord realm. Senior Fei Huang said that she would send us to cultivate 10 years later. Is it in the universe ruins? Lu Ming whispered. The primitive universe he mentioned was the universe controlled by the Heavenly Palace, not the universe ruins. Chapter 45-40. The conditions in the primitive universe were very limited. Whether it was the divine qi or the various divine medicines, they couldn't support the cultivation of Divine Lord Realm experts. Those Divine Lord Realm experts who wanted to improve and climb up the ladder would choose to explore the ruins of the universe. This was the same whether it was the Heavenly Palace, the races in the universe, or the Heaven Destroyer. Forget it. I'll spend the next 10 years with Dad, Mom, Shaoqing, and Autumn Moon. Lu Ming got up with a smile. After that, Lu Ming didn't focus on cultivation. At most, he would use the primitive ring as a reference to comprehend the primitive form. The rest of the time, he would spend with his family and friends. He would accompany Lu Yuntian and Li Ping to chat about their daily lives. He would also accompany Xian Yanqing and Xueqi to travel around the world. In addition, he would also take time to teach Lu Shenhuang, Lu Qi, and his disciples. Speaking of his disciples, Lu Ming felt ashamed. Ever since he took them in as disciples, he hadn't taken the time to teach them. They were all traveling, adventuring, and cultivating alone. Most of the disciples' cultivation was done by themselves or by seeking guidance from others. Therefore, during this rare free time, Lu Ming often took the time to focus on guiding Lu Xiangxiang, Ouyang Moli, and the rest. The Heaven Destroyer's base was much better than the Taishu dynasty. In addition, Lu Ming had a lot of resources and Lu Ming's personal guidance. The cultivation of his disciples, including Lu Shenhuang and Lu Qi, improved very quickly. Not long after, Lu Qi and Ouyang Moli's cultivation reached the Divine King realm. Xiang even broke through 2 levels and reached the 8th level of the Divine King realm. Of course, their cultivation didn't stop there. Just like that, 10 years passed in the blink of an eye. 10 years later, Lu Ming received Fei Huang's voice transmission again, asking him to head to the place where Fei Huang lived. At the same time, Xian Yanqing, Autumn Moon, and the others also received the message. Lu Ming, Xian Yanqing, and the others headed towards Fei Huang's residence. At Fei Huang's residence, Lu Ming discovered that other than Xian Yanqing and Autumn Moon, Ling Yue had also come. There were also Myriad God, Dandan, and Bubbles. In addition to these people, there were also some other people who were some of the top prodigies in Heaven Destroyer, such as Yiling Wush. Not long after Lu Ming and the others arrived, Fei Huang's figure appeared in front of them. This time, I called you here because I want to send you to cultivate. However, each of you will have a different training ground. According to your physique, the cultivation method you practice, the power you control, etc., you will be able to choose the most suitable training ground for you. It will be able to stimulate your potential to the maximum and allow you to improve as quickly as possible. Fei Huang said. As expected, they will go to different venues. Lu Ming whispered. He had guessed this long ago. Otherwise, Fei Huang wouldn't have asked him to spend more time with his family, Xian Yanqing, and Autumn Moon all these years. You must improve your strength as soon as possible. Time waits for no one. I'm afraid it won't be long before the war begins. Fei Huang said. Senior, what do you mean by the war is about to begin? Are we going to have a decisive battle with the Heavenly Palace? The one who asked was not Lu Ming, but a prodigy in Heaven Destroyer. Almost everyone was curious. This matter was what everyone was concerned about. Fei Huang was silent for a moment, then shook her head and said, It's hard to say. I can't explain it clearly. Everyone was curious. What did Fei Huang's answer mean? To tell you the truth, more than 10 years ago, I received a message from the taboo sword ancestor. He said that he peeked at a corner of the future. In the near future, there will be an unprecedented war. Fei Huang said. What? Everyone was shocked. They all knew who the taboo sword ancestor was. That was Tang Feng, an invincible figure and the leader of Heaven Destroyer. He actually peeked at a corner of the future. There would be a great war in the future. Moreover, they also noticed that Fei Huang used the word unprecedented. An unprecedented war. It could be seen that this war would be incomparably tragic. Everyone's face became solemn. Senior Fei Huang, did the taboo sword ancestor say who our opponent is? It should be the Heavenly Palace, right? Someone asked again. I'm not sure. You have to know that peeking into the future is extremely difficult and full of danger. The past is irreversible, and the future is full of infinite variables. It is also very difficult to peek into the future. Once you do, you will suffer a terrible backlash. Even the space-time spirit mouse, which is known to be able to control time and space, can't peek into the future. Moreover, the higher the cultivation of the target, the more difficult it is to peek into the future. The more creatures involved, the more difficult it is to peek into the future. On the contrary, the future of an ordinary person is easier to peek into. Fei Huang said with a serious face. Everyone understood this point. An ordinary person who did not cultivate only had a short lifespan of 100 years. It was very easy to peek into their future. Letting the space-time spirit mouse, who was proficient in space-time, go would be able to peek into their future clearly. However, if the target was a cultivator, it would be much more difficult. The higher the cultivation, the more difficult it would be. And the more creatures involved, the more difficult it would be. For example, peeking into the future of a race would be extremely difficult. Previously, an Origin Realm expert of the Space-Time Spirit Mouse clan used space-time techniques to peek into the future of the Space-Time Spirit Mouse clan. He only managed to peek into a corner of the future before suffering a backlash. He was heavily injured and has yet to recover, Fei Huang said. Everyone was shocked. Everyone's hearts shook. The Origin Venerate of the Space-Time Spirit Mouse clan was a master of time. He had already grasped the essence of time. He had only wanted to pry into the future of the Space-Time Spirit Mouse clan, but he had suffered a heavy injury. One could imagine how dangerous it was to pry into the future. Of course, the Origin Venerables of the Space-Time Spirit Mouse clan also knew that the Heavenly Palace might move against them through that corner of the future. That's why they wanted to cooperate with us in advance. Fei Huang said. Lu Ming came to a realization. He finally understood why the Space-Time Spirit Mouse clan wanted to cooperate with the Heaven Destroyer for a long time. It turned out that they had peeked into a corner of the future. I'm telling you this because I want you to understand that peeking into the future is as difficult as ascending to the heavens. Not to mention, Tang Feng peeked into the future of the entire universe. It's even more difficult. He was also able to peek into a corner of the future through a special opportunity. However, it was very vague. He only knew that there would be an earth-shattering war that would be extremely tragic. Countless people would die in battle. However, he couldn't see clearly who the opponent would be. It's difficult to say. Fei Huang said. Apart from the Heavenly Palace, there are no other opponents. They're probably going to have a decisive battle with the Heavenly Palace. I think the Heavenly Palace is afraid. They're afraid that if they continue to wait, they'll be surpassed by us. That's why they want to strike first. A few people were discussing. Senior, will the demons become our opponents? At this moment, Lu Ming asked. Chapter 45-41. Demons? Hearing Lu Ming's words, everyone fell silent and pondered. Demons? I don't think so. Demons and the heavenly human race are mortal enemies. They have a common enemy with us. Why would they become our opponents? Someone asked. Lu Ming is right. We have to be careful of demons, Fei Huang said. Fei Huang said, demons are demons after all. They are naturally savage, violent, bloodthirsty, murderous, and evil. We are only cooperating with them to keep the Heavenly Palace in check. No one can say for sure what will happen in the future when facing demons. Therefore, we have to treat them as potential enemies and guard against them. Everyone nodded seriously. If they really destroyed the Heavenly Palace, they would have to fight against the demons. Lu Ming frowned and felt a little heavy. For some reason, he felt that things weren't that simple. It wasn't like the Forbidden Sword Ancestor and Fei Huang hadn't fought against the Heavenly Palace before. According to Xian Yanqing, an earth-shattering battle had broken out with the Heavenly Palace 60 stellar years ago. That battle was incomparably tragic. Countless people died in battle. The number of experts that fell was innumerable. 2 of the Heavenly Palace were destroyed. 60 stellar years ago, there were still 7 Heavenly Palace, but now there were only 5 left. However, the Forbidden Sword Ancestor, Tang Feng, saw a glimpse of the future and described the future battle as all previous battles. It was obvious that the battle in the future would definitely exceed 60 stellar years ago. The Heavenly Palace's strength now was obviously not as strong as it was 60 stellar years ago. If they really fought, how could it be unprecedented? Could it be that the demons and the Heavenly Palace were working together to deal with them? Or, did the heavenly human race have an unimaginable expert? They couldn't figure it out. Senior, did the Sword Ancestor say when the battle will break out? Dandan asked. I'm not sure. It won't be more than a stellar year. The earliest might be 10,000 years later. Fei Huang said. 10,000 years later at the earliest. Everyone was shocked. 10,000 years was simply too short. It was impossible for them to reach the peak. The amount of time left for them was simply too short. Everyone was praying in their hearts, hoping that the war would come later. It would be best if it was close to a stellar year later. With their talent, they would probably reach major accomplishment in a single stellar year. It was extremely likely for some of them to reach reciprocity. However, if it was only 10,000 years, then it was truly too short. That's why I'm sending you all to cultivate. Time is of the essence, so you must raise your strength as soon as possible. Fei Huang said. At this moment, even without Fei Huang's reminder, everyone felt a strong sense of urgency in their hearts. They wished they could quickly increase their strength in order to deal with the earth-shattering battle that was about to erupt in the near future. Xian Yanqing, after this, I will send you to the boundless Devil Abyss. That place is the place where I cultivated back then and is the most suitable place for you to cultivate. Over there, you will be able to improve faster. However, it's only suitable for you to go. Fei Huang said. Yes. Xian Yanqing nodded. Then, Fei Huang looked at Wan Shen. Wan Shen, I will send you to the land of the fallen gods. Legend has it that it's the burial ground of the primordial divine spirits. It's also the place where the primordial divine spirits and the celestial race fought. A large number of primordial divine spirits are buried there. Of course, it's also filled with danger. It's best if it's dangerous. I was afraid that it would just be a boring cultivation. Wan Shen chuckled, filled with battle intent. Autumn Moon, you have the sacred heart of 9 orifices. I will send you the Sea of Elemental Heart. Over there, your potential will be maximized. The sacred heart of 9 orifices is no small matter. The potential it contains is something that even I can't estimate. Since the appearance of the primitive universe including you, there have only been 2 examples. Fei Huang looked at Autumn Moon. Many people also looked at Autumn Moon with envy. Even Fei Huang said that it was impossible to estimate. It was absolutely shocking. Senior Fei Huang, I've already opened all 9 orifices, but my potential hasn't been maximized? Autumn Moon asked curiously. The 9 orifices of the Sacred Heart of 9 orifices are only at the entry level, Fei Huang said. After a while she said, someone once found an ancient book in the ruins of the universe. There were a few words in it that mentioned the Sacred Heart of 9 orifices. It seemed to be some kind of heaven-defying constitution from the last era and has endless potential. Everyone was shocked. Even Lu Ming looked at Autumn Moon curiously. The Sacred Heart of 9 orifices was actually some kind of heaven-defying constitution from the last era. This was beyond Lu Ming's expectation. Since the birth of the primitive universe, there had only been 2 examples, including Autumn Moon. The ratio was even more pitiful. Autumn Moon was also surprised. She did not expect the Sacred Heart of 9 orifices to have untapped potential. Bubbles, I'll take you to the Sea of Time and Space. It's the most suitable place for you to cultivate. World Turtle Dandan, I'll send you to the Myriad Transformation Ruins. That should be the ruins left behind by a powerful formation from the last era. The remnant formations left behind are incomparably exquisite, enough for you to comprehend. Elf Princess Ling Yue, I'll send you to the 10,000 Spirits Palace. It's the most suitable place for you to cultivate your elf bloodline. Next, Fei Huang made arrangements one by one. Every genius had a specific arrangement and a place that was most suitable for them to cultivate. It could be seen that Fei Huang had spent a lot of effort during this period of time. Relatively speaking, these places are relatively safe. However, these places are all within the ruins of the universe. No one can guarantee 100% safety in the ruins of the universe. There could be danger at any time. Therefore, you must be careful when you cultivate. Take this jade talisman. If you encounter danger that you can't resist or feel that you've cultivated enough and want to leave, crush this jade talisman. I'll know, Fei Huang said. As she spoke, figures continuously walked out from her body. They were all Fei Huang's soul incarnations. A soul incarnation walked to Xian Yanqing's side. With a wave of its hand, it brought Xian Yanqing into the sky and disappeared. A soul incarnation came to Autumn Moon's side and brought Autumn Moon away. Every soul incarnation would take away a person. Very soon, there was only one person left at the scene, and that was Lu Ming. He stood there alone. Of course, there was also Fei Huang. Lu Ming was dumbfounded. After a while he asked, Senior Fei Huang, where should I go to cultivate? Everyone had a place to go. He was the only one who hadn't been arranged. I don't know where to send you to cultivate. Fei Huang said helplessly. There's no suitable place for me to go? Lu Ming asked speechlessly. Indeed, there's no place that's particularly suitable for you to cultivate. The taboo body is rather special. It's very difficult to break through just by cultivating in seclusion. You have to face danger in actual combat in order to continuously break through and improve. Fei Huang said. Peak. Chapter 45-42. So, I can only go out and travel by myself? Lu Ming said. That's right. Moreover, with your current cultivation, you can enter the universe ruins for adventure. I can recommend you a few places. Fei Huang said. Senior, please tell me. Lu Ming said. Before that, you need to have a general understanding of the universe ruins. Also, you need to know what opportunities there are in the universe ruins. Fei Huang said. Senior, please enlighten me. Lu Ming looked like he was asking for advice. The opportunities in the universe ruins are mainly divided into 6 categories. The first is weapons. The universe ruins are left behind from the War of the Last Era. Too many years have passed. Not many things can survive such a long time without rotting. Those weapons that are not high enough, such as those on par with Master-grade divine weapons, will rot after such a long time. Only source-grade divine weapons can be preserved. On the path of cultivation, no matter what kind of power one cultivates, whether it is the forbidden power, the power of the heavens, the power of gods, or the chi refinement arts of the last epoch, they are all connected in the end. They all return to the origin. Therefore, there were also source-grade divine weapons in the last era. Maybe they weren't called that in the last era, but they are similar to the current source-grade divine weapons. They all contain origin. In fact, the source-grade divine weapons used by many origin realm experts in the universe are mostly obtained from the universe ruins. They are refined later on, so there are relatively few of them. Fei Huang explained in detail. Hearing Fei Huang's explanation about source-grade divine weapons, Lu Ming understood a principle. No matter what kind of power you cultivate, you have to reach the origin realm in the end. However, there are more broken source-grade divine weapons in the universe ruins, and they are easier to obtain. Complete source-grade divine weapons are extremely rare. Of course, broken source-grade divine weapons are also very precious. The materials they contain can be used to forge source-grade divine weapons. Once you come across one, you can't miss it. Fei Huang said. Lu Ming naturally nodded. Of course, he wouldn't miss out on a broken source-grade divine weapon. He had the big eater little ball with him. Even if he didn't extract the materials inside, he could still feed it to little ball. Next is the second type of opportunity, which is the most widely distributed in the universe ruins and the easiest to obtain. It is the various precious ores, metals, and other refining materials. In the last era, the great desolate continent was shattered into countless fragments, forming countless small continents in the ruins of the universe. And those precious refining materials are hidden in these continents. These refining materials won't decay. Any continent in the universe ruins might have them. You also know that the current Great Desolate Universe's level is too low. After cultivating to the first level of the Divine Lord Realm, it will be very difficult to advance any further. By the same logic, the crafting materials in the primitive universe are not of high quality. Crafting materials that can be used to craft master-level magic weapons are extremely rare. And materials that can be used to craft source-grade magic weapons are even rarer. They are almost non-existent. In the universe ruins, there are many high-quality crafting materials. Now, most of the master-level magic weapons in the primitive universe are made of materials from the universe ruins. The same goes for source-grade magic weapons. Of course, there are even higher-quality crafting materials in the universe ruins. Once you come across those materials, you must not miss them. When Fei Huang spoke up to this point, she did not stop. She continued, the third type of opportunity is the various ancient records. The universe ruins were left behind by the last era. After such a long time, ordinary ancient books naturally can't be preserved. However, there are some ancient books that are refined with special methods, or made with special materials, or hidden in special places. They are protected by immortal power and can be preserved. According to these ancient books, you can find out about the last era and understand some things about it. In fact, some of our understanding of the last era comes from these ancient books. Of course, there is also the possibility of obtaining the cultivation methods left behind by the last era, which is the Qi cultivation art. Some Qi cultivation arts are extremely mysterious and take the fortune of heaven and earth. For example, the 3 corpses art that I passed on to you is a Qi cultivation art that I obtained in the universe ruins. The 3 corpses art is actually a Qi cultivation art from the last era. Hearing Fei Huang's explanation, Lu Ming's heart trembled violently. Next is the fourth type of opportunity, which is some heavenly treasures, such as the creation divine water that I gave you before. However, this type of treasure is very rare, mainly because the universe ruins have experienced a fierce war. The rules and profound meanings are extremely chaotic, so it is very difficult to breed heavenly treasures that contain life essence. It is purely dependent on luck. The fifth type of opportunity is the most important goal of all Divine Master Realm experts when they enter the universe ruins. It is the primitive gem. Primitive gem? Lu Ming asked in confusion. There is primitive Qi in the Taishang Immortal City, which is completely different from the divine Qi of the primitive universe. It is of a higher level than divine Qi. It is the Qi of heaven and earth contained in the primitive continent of the last era, which can quickly increase one's cultivation. Now, there are very few places in the universe ruins that have primitive Qi. However, when the primitive Qi is rich to a certain extent, it will form primitive gems, which are buried underground like spirit stones and divine crystals. These Great Desolation crystals were formed during the Great Desolation continent back then. They are buried within the fragments of the continent. The energy contained within the Great Desolation crystals is not something that the Great Desolation pills in the Supreme Immortal City can compare to. They are much denser than the Great Desolation pills. The main goal of the Divine Masters of the primitive universe when they enter the universe ruins is the primitive gems. Only with the primitive gems can they continuously increase their cultivation. Otherwise, it will be very difficult for the Divine Masters to increase their cultivation. Moreover, the primitive gems will be more useful to you. You already have the origin seed and the direction is clear. You don't have to waste your energy to find the direction. As long as you continue to refine the primitive gems, you will be able to increase your cultivation. Therefore, your main goal when you enter the universe ruins is the primitive gems. Fei Huang said. It turns out that the divine masters rely on the primitive gems to increase their cultivation. Lu Ming finally understood. It was no wonder that all the almighty masters had to venture into the universe wasteland to explore. It was to search for the primordial gems. Of course, if someone constantly provided you with primitive gems, you would be able to increase your cultivation in the primitive universe. This is the 5th type of opportunity. Finally, there is the 6th type of opportunity, which is also the most important opportunity. The opportunity that makes people go crazy is the treasure that contains the origin mark. Fei Huang said. Treasure that contains the origin mark? What is that? Is it related to the origin realm? Lu Ming asked curiously. Chapter 45-43. You've guessed correctly. Treasures with origin imprints are indeed related to the origin realm. If origin realm existences want to increase their cultivation, they have to rely on their own talent to comprehend origin energy, but that's far too slow. If you have treasures with origin imprints, you can directly absorb the origin imprint within the treasure and directly increase the cultivation of origin realm existences, said Fei Huang. Fei Huang was shocked. Lu Ming was shocked. A treasure that could help reciprocity realm cultivators increase their cultivation was definitely extremely precious. Reciprocity realm experts would fight over it. It was no wonder that Fei Huang had said that this was the most important fortuitous encounter out of the 6 types of fortuitous encounters. The foundation of cultivators was their cultivation. An increase in cultivation was the greatest benefit. Any treasure that could increase cultivation was extremely valuable, let alone treasures that could increase the cultivation of origin realm experts. If he obtained one and sold it to an origin realm expert, he would be able to sell it for an astronomical price. As a result, you can keep it if you obtain it. Once you reach origin realm in the future, it'll be of great use. However, treasures with origin imprints are extremely rare, or it wouldn't be so difficult for origin realm existences in the universe to increase their cultivation. Fei Huang said. Lu Ming nodded. He understood this very well. The more valuable a treasure was, the more difficult it was to obtain and the rarer it was. Alright, that's all for the 6 types of fortuitous encounters in the ruins of the universe. I'll tell you about some of the dangers you'll encounter in the ruins of the universe. The ruins of the universe were formed from the destruction of the primeval continent in the last epoch. It can be described as an ancient battlefield. The laws and mysteries in the ruins of the universe are extremely chaotic, so it's very difficult to nurture large amounts of life. There aren't any powerful races. However, there are exceptions to everything. What exists in the ruins of the universe the most are various types of insects. These insects are tenacious, and some of them have even inherited the bloodlines of the last epoch. Under the chaotic laws and mysteries, they can constantly reproduce. As a result, you have to be careful of various insects in the ruins of the universe. Some extremely desolate continents might be inhabited by some terrifying insects. Some insects are extremely terrifying. There was once an origin realm expert who was bitten to death by a mosquito, said Fei Huang. Fei Huang explained. Lu Ming became dumbfounded. An origin realm expert had been bitten to death by a mosquito in the ruins of the universe? What kind of mosquito was that? Why was it so terrifying? First of all, you have to be careful of the various insects. Also, the ruins of the universe are the battlefield of the last aeon. Countless experts have died there. So many evil things will appear. As a result, it's best if you don't go to places that you find evil or strange. Those places are often extremely dangerous. There have been many reciprocity experts who have died there. Of course, the most important thing is to be careful of the cultivators from the Heavenly Palace. They are the greatest danger. Lu Ming nodded as Fei Huang spoke. However, in the recent dozens of stellar years, there have been great changes in the universe ruins. The chaotic laws and Upanishads have slowly become orderly. Therefore, some of the continent fragments have given birth to some creatures and races that know how to cultivate. However, it hasn't been long, and these races haven't developed yet. They don't have many experts, so they aren't a threat. Of course, there's a lot more information about the universe ruins. I have a jade slip here with more information about the universe ruins. Take a look. With that, a jade slip appeared in Fei Huang's hand. She passed it to Lu Ming. Lu Ming accepted it and sent his consciousness into it. Very soon, he memorized the contents of the jade slip. Many of the information about the universe ruins surprised Lu Ming. He felt like he had been a frog in a well before. This time, he had broadened his horizons. Alright, I've told you the basics. Now, it's up to you to choose where you want to explore. I have a few regions here. You can choose for yourself. A jade slip appeared in Fei Huang's hand. The jade slip glowed and a huge image appeared in the air. This is a map of the universe ruins. Of course, it's not complete. It's only a portion. The universe ruins are extremely vast. Over the countless years, the Heavenly Palace, the various races of the universe, and our Heaven Destroyer have only explored a third of the universe ruins. The remaining 2/3 are unknown. The regions that light up belong to regions that have already been explored. Fei Huang introduced. Lu Ming was extremely shocked. How many years had passed since then? After so many years, the experts of the Heavenly Palace, the various races of the universe, and the Heaven Destroyer had only explored a third of the universe ruins. The remaining 2/3 were still unknown. This was just too shocking. This meant that the universe ruins were extremely vast. Another reason was that the universe ruins were extremely dangerous. Otherwise, with the lifespan of the origin realm that existed with the universe, they could explore the entire universe ruins no matter how large they were. The main reason was that it was too dangerous. When exploring, they had to be careful and cautious. Naturally, their speed was very slow. We've also divided the ruins of the universe into small regions. These regions are very far apart from each other, and there's a long void between them. This is similar to the star regions in the primitive universe. Between different star regions, there's a long dark void. Of course, the area of each small region is much larger than the star regions of the primitive universe. Fei Huang explained. Lu Ming took a closer look. True enough, he saw that the map was divided into small and different regions. Between each region, there was a relatively long space of nothingness that separated them. Each region is different in size, characteristics, and species. Of course, the danger is also different. The closer it is to the depths of the universe ruins, the more dangerous it is. The few regions I've recommended to you are all relatively close to the periphery of the universe ruins. It's suitable for you to adventure with your current cultivation. Look, this region has some poisonous insects, but it's also rich in refining materials. Many people from the heavenly human race, the various races of the universe, and the Heaven Destroyer are exploring there. It'll be of some help to you. What do you think? Fei Huang pointed at a region that was relatively close to the periphery. Lu Ming looked at it and shook his head in the end. Fei Huang introduced again. This region is called the Six Snakes region. There's almost no exploration. Then, Fei Huang introduced 3 to 5 regions in a row, all of which were suitable for Lu Ming to explore at the moment. This region is called the Heavenly Star region. It's an area that has just been developed. It's basically occupied by the people of the Heavenly Palace. Only a few people from the Heaven Destroyer are active there. Fei Huang continued. When she introduced the Heavenly Star region, Lu Ming's eyes lit up. Okay, I choose to go to the Heavenly Star region. Lu Ming said. You want to go to the Heavenly Star region? Most of the people who are active there are from the heavenly human race. Once you're in danger, you won't be able to find help. Fei Huang said. Only without help can my greatest potential be stimulated. Also, I can kill to my heart's content because they're from the heavenly human race. A ray of cold light flashed in Lu Ming's eyes. Chapter 45-44. There was another reason why Lu Ming chose the Heavenly Star region. The Heavenly Star region was newly developed and had not been explored much. This also meant that there were more opportunities. If an area had been discovered long ago, it would have been explored thousands of times. What opportunities would there be? Especially the desolate crystals. Lu Ming's main goal for this trip was to obtain the primordial crystal. This could increase his cultivation level rapidly. Although the treasures that contained the origin mark were precious, if one's cultivation had not reached the origin realm and could not absorb them, they could only stare at them helplessly. At present, the desolate crystals were the most practical for Lu Ming. Well, since you have made your choice, let's go. Your cultivation is different. You need to go through life and death situations to continuously improve. Therefore, my soul clone will not help you. If you encounter any danger, you have to deal with it yourself. Do you understand? Fei Huang said with a solemn expression. Understood. Lu Ming nodded. Well, take this map with you. Also, take this formation disc for metal materials with you. Then you can set off. Fei Huang said. Thank you, senior. Lu Ming took the map and formation disc and left without saying anything else. Before coming here, he had already said goodbye to his parents, disciples, and friends, so there was no need to say goodbye. After leaving Fei Huang's residence, Lu Ming directly flew towards the depths of the universe ruins. The universe ruins. Looking at the dark and lonely universe ruins, Lu Ming's eyes were filled with anticipation. This was the first time he was going to explore the ruins of the universe. He couldn't help but look forward to it. What would be waiting for him? Compared to the Heaven Destroyer Station, the Heavenly Star region was naturally deeper in the universe ruins. There were several other regions in between. It was very far to go to the Heavenly Star region. Moreover, Lu Ming planned to cross the other regions. He planned to move forward through the void between the regions. Relatively speaking, the void did not have any fragments of the desolate continent. It would not give birth to any evil existences, nor would there be any insects. It was safer. The experts of the desolate universe usually went through the void between regions when they wanted to go to a certain region. This was because they did not have to worry about being attacked by other creatures in the void. They could increase their speed to the extreme. There were no wormholes in the universe ruins. This was because the laws here were chaotic. Even if the laws of the universe ruins seemed to have stabilized a lot in the past few decades, it was still extremely difficult to open a wormhole. Even experts of the space-time spirit mouse would find it difficult to open a wormhole across regions in the universe ruins. Therefore, one could only rely on himself to travel in the universe ruins. Given Lu Ming's speed, it took him a total of 7 days to reach the stellar sky area. Without hesitation, Lu Ming dashed into the territory of the Tianqing region. Once he entered the Heavenly Star area, he could see a continent floating in the air every time he flew a certain distance. These continents were all fragments of the desolate continent. Some were big and some were small. The small ones were only a few thousand kilometers. The big ones were boundless. There were also many larger-than-life planets. The scenery of the universe ruins is really different from the desolate universe. Lu Ming looked around as he flew. There were no planets in the universe ruins. There were only fragments of continents. The light source here was not a star, but a river. Yes, a river filled with flames, traversing the void. Some rivers stretched endlessly, comparable to a galaxy in the desolate universe. From afar, it really looked like a river flowing in the void. It was very spectacular. But once he got close, he would feel an astonishing temperature, 1,000 times more terrifying than a star. The light source of the universe ruins relied on this flame river. He did not know how this flame river was formed. The continent ahead is not bad. Let's go take a look. Lu Ming's eyes moved and saw a huge continent floating in front of him. The size of this continent was comparable to a life planet. Lu Ming flew over and retracted his aura. He stood in the sky above the continent and observed to see if there was any danger. It's dead silent. There are no living creatures or plants. There shouldn't be any danger. Lu Ming whispered and then landed on the continent. This continent was dead silent. As far as the eye could see, it was a kind of pitch-black stone. It's easier said than done to check if there are any precious metal mines on this vast and boundless continent. Lu Ming took out the array disc that Fei Huang gave him and sighed in his heart. The array disc that Fei Huang gave him was called the gold-seeking array disc. It could detect if there were any precious metal mines within a certain range. The gold-seeking array disc was almost a necessary treasure to find the universe ruins. When coming to an unfamiliar continent, it could be used to find precious metal mines. However, the range of the gold-seeking array disc was very limited. Fei Huang's gold-seeking array disc was considered top-notch, but it could only detect an area with a radius of 10,000 miles. It was difficult to detect anything beyond 10,000 miles. How long would it take to detect such a large continent? Lu Ming shook his head. He didn't come here to mine, so he naturally wouldn't spend so much time to detect if there were any metal mines. If he spent a few months to detect if there were no precious metal mines at all, wouldn't it be a big loss? Lu Ming, leave the matter of detecting metal mines to me. Why do you need to use an array disc? At this moment, Xueqi said. Xueqi, how long will it take you to finish detecting such a large continent? Lu Ming asked. 1 hour is enough. Xueqi said proudly. 1 hour. Good. Lu Ming couldn't help but be overjoyed. If he could find some metal materials that could be used to forge master-grade or even origin-grade divine weapons, it would be a great harvest. After all, in the primitive universe, regardless of whether it was a main-level magic weapon or a source-level magic weapon, they were all rare goods. Moreover, Lu Ming knew that there was a blacksmith master in the Heaven Exterminating Troop who could refine source-level divine weapons. He was at the origin realm. Although the success rate was very low, as long as there were enough refining materials, it would eventually succeed. Moreover, since the World Turtle Clan joined, the success rate of forging origin-grade divine weapons had greatly increased. The World Turtle Clan was proficient in rune formations, and rune formations were the foundation of forging weapons. Therefore, there were many experts in forging weapons in the World Turtle Clan. According to Dandan, one of the ancestors of the Turtle Clan in this world could also refine source-level divine weapons. In this way, in the Heaven Destroyer, there were 2 master refiners who could forge origin-grade divine weapons. As long as there were enough materials, they could still succeed. As for master-grade divine weapons, the success rate was even higher. Chapter 45-45. Whether it was a main-grade divine weapon or an origin-grade divine weapon, the more the better. Even if Lu Ming couldn't use it himself, he could sell it to the other experts of the Heaven Destroyer. After all, in the future, an origin-grade divine weapon could greatly increase the battle prowess of an origin realm expert. Moreover, Lu Ming urgently wanted to obtain some armor-type origin-grade divine weapons. Ever since he saw Yi Chu Tianji's origin-grade divine weapon armor, Lu Ming couldn't forget about it. Its defensive power was too strong. If he could wear this kind of armor, his life-saving ability in the future battle would definitely increase by a lot. He couldn't wait for his family and friends to wear this kind of armor. Speaking of Yi Chu Tianji's origin-grade divine weapon armor, Lu Ming had previously asked the master refiner of the World Turtle Clan if it could be repaired. The answer he gave was that it could be repaired, but it lacked 2 precious metal materials. The materials that could repair the origin-grade divine weapon armor were naturally incomparably precious. They could only be found in the ruins of the universe. This time, Lu Ming also wanted to try his luck on this trip to the ruins of the universe. He wanted to see if he could find the metal materials to repair the origin-grade divine weapon armor. Lu Ming, wait for me. After saying that, Xueqi flew out of Lu Ming's hand and flew into the distance. Xueqi, once you encounter other creatures, return immediately. Lu Ming informed. Don't worry. Xueqi's figure disappeared after saying that. Lu Ming waited on the spot. In less than half an hour, Xueqi returned. Lu Ming, I found a place with a metal mine underground. Xueqi said. There really is. Lu Ming was overjoyed. Immediately, Lu Ming followed Xueqi to a mountain peak. Although it was called a mountain peak, it was actually a protruding rock with no plants on it. I can sense that there is a metal mine under this mountain peak. Lu Ming, wait for me. I'll go down and take a look. With that said, Xueqi plunged into the mountain peak. The rock was like tofu as Xueqi dug out a huge hole. About 10 minutes later, Xueqi flew out of the hole again. His body turned into a big round ball. He opened his mouth and a lump of metal flew out from his mouth. With a rumbling sound, the lump of metal smashed into the ground. It was as tall as a person and was incomparably heavy, causing the ground to rumble and explode. This is violet mist gold. Lu Ming's eyes flickered. Lu Ming hadn't spent the past 10 years in the Heaven Destroyer for nothing. He had read many ancient books and learned about some high-grade metal materials. Flowing violet mist gold was an extremely high-grade metal material that could be used to forge main-grade divine weapons. Materials that could be used to forge master-level divine weapons were already very precious. Xueqi had actually created such a huge mess in such a short time. Lu Ming, there is indeed a small vein of this kind of metal below. I just ate a lot of it. These were all purified by me. Xueqi said to Xueqi. Lu Ming nodded. He naturally understood that Xueqi had purified them. Otherwise, how could metal ores be so pure? They definitely contained many impurities. Xueqi, why didn't you eat them? Lu Ming asked curiously. Given Xueqi's nature, would he obediently spit out such high-grade metal materials instead of eating them? There are too many impurities in my body. I need time to slowly digest them. I can't eat any other metal materials. Xueqi said with a bitter expression. Too many impurities. Is it because of the damaged source-level divine weapons you ate earlier? Lu Ming asked. Xueqi had eaten so many damaged source-level divine weapons and damaged main-grade divine weapons, but his cultivation was still at the 9th level of the God Emperor realm. It wasn't normal that he hadn't broken through to the God Lord realm. According to Lu Ming's deduction, Xueqi should have broken through to the God Lord realm long ago, or even surpassed Lu Ming's cultivation. Yes, not only damaged source-level divine weapons, but also damaged main-grade divine weapons. Eating too many of them will leave behind impurities. It was nothing before, but when I reached the 9th level of the God Emperor realm, there were too many impurities, so I couldn't evolve. Xueqi said with a bitter expression. Then how can you get rid of the impurities? Lu Ming asked. There are 2 ways to get rid of the impurities. One is to slowly remove them by myself, but this method takes a very long time. I estimate that it will take at least tens of thousands of years. The other is to find a precious metal material called Ice Fire Star Silver. Xueqi said. Ice Fire Star Silver is an essential material for forging source-level divine weapons? Lu Ming asked. Yes, that's the Ice Fire Star Silver. Xueqi nodded. Lu Ming furrowed his brows. Ice Fire Star Silver wasn't easy to find. It was extremely precious. Because the current weapon forging masters in the primitive universe had to use Ice Fire Star Silver to forge source-level divine weapons. The Ice Fire Star Silver had an extremely special effect, which was that it could harmonize all sorts of different refining materials, allowing these different refining materials to blend together perfectly. This would greatly increase the success rate of forging source-level divine weapons. For example, if the weapon forging master in the Heaven Destroyer added Ice Fire Star Silver when he was forging source-level divine weapons, the success rate of forging source-level divine weapons would be about 20%. Without Ice Fire Star Silver, the success rate of forging source-level divine weapons would be less than 5%. Yes, even the top weapon forging masters in the universe had such a low success rate of forging source-level divine weapons. Originally, it was already extremely difficult to gather the materials needed to forge a source-grade weapon. Now that he had finally gathered all of them, there was a chance that he would fail if he tried to forge one. It would turn the precious materials into waste. But this was something that couldn't be helped. It was too difficult to find an intact source-level divine weapon in the ruins of the universe. Therefore, source-level divine weapons were so rare in the universe. Only those with great luck could obtain them. Even some Origin Realm experts didn't have source-level divine weapons. This showed how precious Ice Fire Star Silver was. After all, adding Ice Fire Star Silver in the process of forging source-level divine weapons could increase the success rate by more than 15%. And Xueqi needed Ice Fire Star Silver to quickly refine the impurities in its body. How much do you need? Lu Ming asked. About 5 kilograms. Xueqi's fairway. Hiss. Lu Ming gasped a breath of cold air. 5 kilograms was too much. 4 other precious metals, a fingernail-sized piece would weigh hundreds of thousands or even millions of kilograms. But Ice Fire Star Silver was different. It was extremely light. A fist-sized piece of Ice Fire Star Silver weighed about 1 gram. And according to Lu Ming's knowledge, one only needed to add 1 kilogram of Ice Fire Star Silver to forge a source-level divine weapon. 5 kilograms of Ice Fire Star Silver was enough to forge 10 source-level divine weapons. Xueqi also knew how rare Ice Fire Star Silver was. It could only say with a sad face, "Looks like I can only slowly polish it and spend tens of thousands of years to refine it. After tens of thousands of years, I don't know how many streets my cultivation will be left behind by you." Chapter 45-46. Don't worry, take your time. Lu Ming patted Xueqi's chubby head and comforted it. Ow! Xueqi continued to wear a bitter face. Xueqi, go and continue mining. I'll store these metals for you to eat when you break through to the Divine Master Realm. Lu Ming encouraged Xueqi. Of course, he wouldn't let Xueqi store them. He would take them out to refine weapons when he returned. Of course, Xueqi needed encouragement. Sure enough, Xueqi was energized. It drilled into the ground and dug with all its might. Lu Ming followed the tunnel dug by Xueqi and went inside to take a look. The ground was indeed filled with sparkling purple flowing violet gold ore. Xueqi's body became huge. It opened its mouth and swallowed a large amount of ore into its stomach. After a while, it spat out all the impurities. What was left in its mouth was pure flowing violet gold. It's really comfortable to bring Xueqi to the universe ruins. Even if the other gains are small, the metal materials will definitely be a big harvest. Lu Ming smiled. What a pity. If Xueqi had reached the Divine Master Realm, its ability to mine and purify metals would have been greatly improved. Lu Ming sighed inwardly. Xueqi continued to mine and purify the ores with all its might. Because Lu Ming would store them for it, it would belong to it in the future, so it naturally worked hard. Lu Ming returned to the ground, sat cross-legged, and began to cultivate. Although he couldn't increase his cultivation now, he could comprehend the primitive style. In addition, he could also comprehend the battle character manual. Half a month passed in Lu Ming's cultivation process. In this half a month, Xueqi had completely emptied the small underground mine and purified more than 100 million gene of flowing violet gold. More than 100 million gene of flowing violet gold was enough to refine 10 main-grade divine weapons. Of course, a main-grade divine weapon couldn't use only one material. It needed to be matched with other precious materials. But this was still a big harvest. After emptying the mine, Xueqi explored the entire continent but didn't find anything else. Then, the two of them left the continent and continued to travel. Lu Ming didn't have a goal. As long as he saw a continent that he felt was all right, he would go and take a look. If he wanted to gain something, he would have to rely on luck and opportunity. It was said that the cultivators of the previous epoch liked to open up cultivation caves in various famous mountains and great rivers. In the great desolate continent of the previous era, there were countless cave dwellings of experts. Later on, they were shattered. Some of the cave dwellings might have been preserved and were scattered among the various fragments of the continent. If he found a cave left behind by an expert from the previous era on a fragment of a continent, he might make a shocking discovery. There were many such examples in history. Hence, the ruins of the universe were like an endless treasure trove, waiting to be excavated. It also attracted countless experts to enter. However, Lu Ming's luck seemed to have run out. Over the next few months, he and Xueqi explored several dozen continents but did not make any major discoveries. There were a few continents that contained metal or veins. However, the metal was of a lower grade and could only be used to forge godly emperor or godly emperor level weapons. Lu Ming naturally didn't care about such metals. He also didn't bother to spend time for Xueqi to excavate them. It wasn't until 3 months later that Lu Ming and Xueqi discovered a precious metal on another continent. It was a metal that could be used to forge master-level weapons. Xueqi spent more than 10 days excavating all the metals here. In these few months, Lu Ming didn't encounter any danger, nor did he encounter any living creatures. Naturally, he didn't encounter anyone from the heavenly palace either. The ruins of the universe are really desolate, Lu Ming muttered in his heart. However, he thought of another problem that shocked him. That was the Great War of the previous era. The Great War of the previous era had actually shattered the vast great desolate continent. This was simply unbelievable. As his understanding of the ruins of the universe deepened, Lu Ming felt more and more terrified. The ruins of the universe were too big. There were countless fragments of continents. How big would these fragments be when gathered together? How grand would it be? What kind of existence and what kind of battle power could destroy such a grand continent? In any case, it was impossible for an Origin Realm existence to do so. Other things aside, an Origin Realm existence couldn't even destroy a planet like the Dragon Clan's mother planet, let alone the great desolate continent of the previous era. Moreover, after the destruction, the laws and mysteries of the universe had been thrown into chaos for countless years. It had only slowly recovered in the recent few dozen stellar years. The influence of a great war that lasted for such a long time could be described as astonishing. The more he thought about it, the more he felt that the previous era was like a bottomless pit. It was unfathomable, like a cloud of fog that was difficult to see through. He shook his head and tossed these complicated thoughts out of his mind. Suddenly Lu Ming's eyes lit up. This was because he saw a continent ahead to his right. It was extremely huge, much bigger than any continent he had encountered before. Moreover, this continent actually had plants. It was a kind of pitch-black plant. Even its leaves were pitch black. Lu Ming flew over quickly and examined it from afar. Indeed, many places on this continent were covered in pitch-black plants. This continent can actually give birth to plants. It must be very rich in resources. I wonder if there are desolate crystals here? Lu Ming's eyes lit up. Desolate crystals contained powerful energy. At the same time, They would radiate and nourish everything. There were many plants here. Perhaps they really did contain desolate crystals. However, plants might also give birth to some terrifying insects. Lu Ming was a little more careful. He concealed his aura and arrived above a forest. He released his spiritual sense and enveloped the forest, carefully observing it. There are no living creatures here. After a while, Lu Ming whispered. This forest only had plants. There were no living creatures. However, Lu Ming did not let down his guard. After all, this was the ruins of the universe. Any place could be filled with danger. In history, who knew how many experts had died in the ruins of the universe? Lu Ming obviously would not let down his guard. He continued to investigate with his spiritual sense as he flew. However, Lu Ming still did not find any living creatures after investigating a large area. Only then did Lu Ming let down his guard slightly. Perhaps this continent only gave birth to plants and did not give birth to other living creatures. Xueqi, go down and check if there are any metal ores. Also, look for desolate crystals. I'll go and see if there are any desolate crystals. Lu Ming said. Okay, leave it to me. After saying that, Xueqi flew out and searched along the ground. Lu Ming, on the other hand, flew in another direction. He could only rely on his senses to find desolate crystals. Where there were desolate crystals, the energy of heaven and earth would definitely be abnormal. It was not difficult to sense it. Lu Ming sensed as he flew. Unfortunately, after flying over half of the continent, he did not find anything abnormal. However, at this time, Xueqi sent a message that he had found something. You're tuning in to the Xueqi's Martial Arts Saga YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.